on the Hamoye Data Science Conference themed Starting a Career in Data Science. Data science is one of the most promising careers of the century, and this conference is aimed at helping our interns start, continue, and become data science professionals. The conference is packed full with activities, exciting activities, some of which include the open source project, which our interns will be presenting. Our interns experienced thus far for the past 6 months, what the internship has actually done to them and what they have actually gained or experienced. Their career aspiration is actually going to be heard from them, and also a plenary session. With us today are priceless interns who have pulled up their socks and given their best shot over the past 6 months, and we are proud of them. To assess and guide our interns today are CEOs, founders, data professionals, medical practitioners, engineers, and professors who are excited to offer their inestimable advice and tutelage to our interns and every participant. A little housekeeping. The conference will last for about 120 minutes. And to maintain decorum, please raise your hand when you want to speak so that you'll be unmuted. Also, keep your video on so that we can have an exciting and engaging conference. Our participants on YouTube aren't left out from the conversation either. So use the code 30302 on slido.com to send in your questions or leave your comments in the comment section. We are sure you have a prompt response. Once again, we say welcome to Hamoye Data Science Conference 2020. Sit back and enjoy an insightful and delectable conference. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Cordelia, for that welcome address. Cordelia is actually a member of the Hamoye team. So I want to join my voice with that of Cordelia to say welcome to each and every person that has taken out time to be part of the Hamoye Data Science Conference 2000. Deliberate talk to learn and to improve, especially as regards the topic, starting science internship, the journey so far. And I hope that at this point we are all geared up because this is where it starts, and this is from where we'll proceed. To talk about the internship, let's start with who we are. Exists to provide skill-based learning and opportunities to millions of people across. So we're looking at two different areas: providing high quality education and providing it on a large scale. So now, in order to achieve this, we've broken down everything into 3 points: one school, one book, and one CV. Learning institutions to offer, the requisite knowledge that everyone needs, and from one book, we have been able to condense every required knowledge, every needed knowledge, into one book, as name implies, that can be easily accessible to everyone, irrespective of whatever limitations that may pre-exist. And then for one CV, when you get trained by this wonderful organization with the amazing packages that we have, we do not just want to leave you high and dry. Instead, we connect you with the job market and seek to ensure that you become relevant in your course of study. So in all of these, we've been able to offer computational thinking course. We've been able to offer the Hamoye Data Science Internship, which is one of the reasons why we're gathering here today. We've been able to offer the STEM Plus Challenge every month for students of high school. We've been able to offer Hamoye Tutors Franchise Program, where we can bring in teachers to help to collaborate in the one school plan. We are offering as well, starting from January 2021, the college prep program, where every student who's seeking, to gain admission into the university can be well prepared, can be trained, to beat the competition and find it easier to gain this admission. Junior coding programs, yes, we know coding is becoming something like a hot cake, or if not a hot cake itself. And then one of the challenges is that learning coding at an advanced age is kind of cumbersome. So at this point, what if we start to learn coding at that young, tender age when our brains are still fresh? So we want to train our kids in different coding languages, different coding skills, so that they can grow up to be coders and developers. As well, starting in January 2021, we also offer a complete machine learning externship where you can come to learn and develop your skill as a machine learning expert. So irrespective of your expertise level prior before the externship, we are guaranteeing that with this 4-month externship, you can rise from 0 to hero in machine learning. And then the Hamoye A team, where we can bring in all of us to collaborate as volunteers and help foster these programs to the desired success. Now, as part of what we offered, Hamoye has offered a 6-month remote internship program where everybody that signed up would have learned in either data science or machine learning operation track, data engineering or machine learning operation track, data science or data storytelling. Now we had over 2,500 interns sign up for this data science internship 2020, which served as the maiden edition. Of the 2,500 plus, 75.6% were male and 24.4% were female. And we have people from different parts of the world, from Nigeria, Kenya, Rwanda, Ghana, India, Russia, just to name a few. The internship lasted for 6 months, which is equivalent to 24 weeks. And I'm sure that by the end of this conference, we'll be seeing the results and we'll be giving rounds of applause to our interns that we're presenting. Now, before this internship, 20.9% of our interns had 0 programming experience, and 74.2% of our interns have 0 open source experience. Is this not baffling at all? But today, we will see how far they've come in the internship. Now, we threw this question out in the open to our interns. We asked them which part of the internship has played the biggest role in your career development. Now you can see the graph for yourself, from the course modules to the webinars to the open source project and to the engagements where we continually interact with our interns, receive feedbacks, and help them in different unblockings. This is the results that they've put together. I want to say I've been proud, not just of our interns, but different men from different parts of the industry that have come to put our interns in the right track. Charles, Wale, Martin, Ifeanyi, Anna, Peter, Simi, Emmanuel, Abiodun, and Allen, amongst others, have come in different webinars and help our interns become the best versions of themselves. Some of them are here on this call, and I cannot hide my appreciation and my admiration for these people. So now, as part of the learning process, our interns have also worked in different groups. Now, these groups were expected to solve real life problems, and they have this time restriction, and with everything that we've taught them during the internship, they've been able to solve different problems, and they've been able to work on different projects. Some of the projects are analyzing an article for fake news, which was done in the stage F of the Hamoye Data Science internship, predicting the outcome of the US election 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, this may sound very ecstatic, but during the stage G of the open source project, one of our interns predicted the outcome of the US election, and your guess is as good as mine. Now, some have also worked on the likelihood of a heart failure patient surviving. And these projects have been judged by experts from the field, and they've given their recommendations and their comments. And I can tell you gladly that our interns are in a better position now to carry on with data science project. Now, after completing the stages E and F and the stages before them, our interns now have been selected have been grouped in 5, and now they've worked on different projects for the stage G. And ladies and gentlemen, today, these are interns for, irrespective of whatever they've had before now, they are ready to dazzle you with their stage G open source presentation. So in 6 months, our interns have successfully completed course modules. They've taken quizzes and have done well. They've completed tag-along projects, depending on the courses that they've had. So really efficacious. They've been involved in community learning. They've received awards and recognitions. They've been part of the open source projects in the stages E and F, as well as today. And today, they are part of the data science conference and the stage E presentation, which I can guarantee that the presentation today will be spellbounding. Now, we want to, in a very special way as well, appreciate members of the Hamoye AI Lab, which is also a faculty of the Hamoye team. We want to appreciate our partners from Maven Code, our mentors from Amazon Web Services, Google, Netflix, Ernst & Young, Piro Labs, etc. So officially, like I said, like Cordelia has mentioned, I want to welcome you all to the Hamoye Data Science Conference. It promises to be exciting, it promises to be formative, it promises to be transformative, and trust me, today, the question about starting a career in data science will be answered. So thank you guys, thank you for being here, and then we'll proceed. Now you've heard a lot about Hamoye. Let's hear our interns talk about their journey so far. A lot of them have come out to document that, okay, yeah, let me tell the world what I have gained from Hamoye. So in the next 5 to 6 minutes, we'll hear some of our interns share their stories. And I'm sure you'll also be impressed by them, because I am impressed already. And I'm hoping that you will join me in this excitement. So before the video will be played, before we hear our interns speak, I'd like all of us, especially our interns on the call, please go to your chat boxes and use one word, just one word, to describe how you feel about the conference. If you're a participant on YouTube, don't be left out. Go to the chat box on YouTube, the comment section, and tell us how you feel. Just one word. I want to start by using my own word: excited. So I'm expecting to get, okay, Shivam Singrato is saying awesome. Oluwato saying awesome. Gurav Jain, excited. Abib is elated. Gupta feels awesome. Sutasal is saying is ecstatic. Insightful from Michael. Mind-blowing from Precious. Enlightening from Akipumi. Kendi is also excited. Thank you, guys. I hope to see more of these comments. I think I feel more. Okay, Joloni is saying it's wonderful. It feels wonderful. Miracle, Elo, adventurous. Thank you, guys. Quadribelo, excited. And Yoluwise feels great. Okay, we may want to take so much, but then let's listen to our interns speak. Foba is saying it's insightful. Okay, we'll take more of these comments when after we are Internship.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. My secret so far, I guess that would be determination, hard work, perseverance, collaboration, never saying never, and most importantly, proper time management. I can't stress that enough. Well, every part of the internship for me has been very, very impactful, starting from the stages where we had to write quizzes and read lesson notes. That's been really, really good. I learned a lot from those. The community on Slack was very helpful. The GitHub community was also helpful. The Hamoye team, kudos to them. They're always on ground to answer your questions, to help you out. And the whole unblocking sessions, these webinars, the webinars was great. It was really, really insightful and had lots of content and information. I always used to look up to the webinars. But regardless, there were times I thought of giving up. I wouldn't lie to you, trying to balance between my work life and the internship. When I say work life, I not really a formal job, but I do tutoring. I tutor secondary school and university students alike. So trying to balance that and also the online tutoring with the internship was really, really, really massive. I had to strike a balance, like find a way to put both of them into my schedule and coupled with the late nights I have to keep. But generally, it's a good sacrifice, and I'm glad it paid off. My advice to prospective cohorts out there, I would say never stop believing, work hard, set your priorities right, plan your time effectively, and most importantly, don't feel discouraged when you see other people getting ahead of you. Just give it time and keep doing what you're doing. You'll get there. Thanks.
Hello, I am Gaurav, data science intern at Hamoye. Thank you for having me. About secret of my progress so far, I would say dedication, time management, and readiness to take up new challenges is the key behind all of these. In fact, I take those challenges as new opportunity to learn and explore new areas of knowledge. I have faith in myself and can do any of the tasks given to me. About Hamoye Internship 2020, it has been really wonderful and enriching experience. I learned so many new skills such as natural language processing, cloud data engineering, data analytics, etc. The approach was learning by doing. We were working on project and side by side we had our learning tasks too. The interesting part was the engaging sessions we had with renowned data science professionals from Google, Amazon, etc. We had mock-up interview sessions, happy calls, motivational sessions, etc., which was really wonderful. The most amazing part was the final data science open source competition where we were divided into teams and got to work in a competitive manner. I was honored to be the part of winning team for stage E and stage F. About my 5-year plans, I aim to become a skilled data science professional where I can help people with my skills and positively impact their life. And I think Hamoye Internship 2020 have put me a step forward in this process. I got to learn so many new professional skills and gain self-confidence. I'm really thankful to Hamoye for having me in this internship. Thank you.
I was very passionate about this internship because I considered it a major milestone in the development of my career. And so I made it my end goal to be very successful. I gave it 100% dedication and commitment. It was a priority for me, and I believe that's why I had outstanding results. Every aspect and every stage of the internship was highly impactful, very interesting and challenging. I looked forward to new course modules, to webinars, and collaboration with colleagues. But for me, the most effective was the open source projects because it exposed me to real-life applications of machine learning. Giving up for me was not an option. I did not consider giving up. Rather, I persisted, despite having to learn new topics and concepts within short periods of time. I was determined to succeed, and so I was able to achieve desired results. For incoming participants in the next cohorts, Hamoye provides a great platform for building your machine learning career. I will advise that you give it your best, give it your all, and be determined to be very successful. And I believe you have your desired results. Thank you.
I would not say there's a secret. It was just a case of me putting my best into every deliverable while trying to see things from the perspective of the eventual audience. The Hamoye internship was really impactful for me. One part I consider most impactful was the open source project. It really gave me the opportunity to experience working with a cross-functional data science team towards shared goals. The webinars were also something I am thankful for, as different data professionals gave us talks on different topics. Going forward, I would like to use the experience I gained here towards gaining a data role, which will allow me to impact on business processes or share data-related insights. Thank you.
That was one hell of an exciting story. So thank you to our interns that have taken out their time, to share their stories with us. Thank you to all of you that are encouraging others to come and enjoy from where you've enjoyed and be as good as you have become good. So thank you so much. Like I'm struggling to find the correct words, to give you a thumbs up with. As we proceed, we are also here today to listen to our interns present their Stage G open source project. They've worked for over 5 weeks to ensure that their projects are ready and their projects are worthy of presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell us today that their work is actually top-notch, but well, it's not my place to actually decide which one is best, which one is good, and which one is worthy of taking into the market. But we have men, experts, professionals, that are here to judge the open source project today, and I'd like to introduce them to all of us so that we can be more familiar with them and know why they are the best for this role. The first on the list is Wale Akinfaderi. Wale is a data scientist at Amazon Web Services, and Wale has huge experience in implementing and extending machine learning techniques to solving practical and business problems. Wow. He's also an advocate of open source and democratizing learning, and Wale has presented in several conferences around the subject, data science and machine learning. Now, Wale is also a member of the Google Developer Experts in Machine Learning, and is also a consultant for data science startups. Before Amazon, I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that Wale has led a team of data scientists at Energy TNT, working to improve renewable energy with the help of data science. Now, Wale has actively been involved in data science projects for over 5 years and still counting. Wale, it feels good to have you here with us. Also as part of our judges list as well, we have Charles Adetiloye. Charles is a co-founder of Maven Code, is an AI and machine learning, deep learning, data pipeline, cloud migration, Google Cloud Platform, Amazon Web Services, data modeling, and data analytics. And Maven Code is based in Salt Lake, Texas. Now, Charles has over a decade worth of experience in consulting and implementing with large-scale distributed data processing softwares and platforms. Thank you for joining us today, Charles. It's a privilege to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Charles. Also, we have Tai Wu Obaso. Tai Wu Obaso. Okay, I think I should actually call out his full name. Tai Wu Obaso James Yakub. All right, so Tai Wu is currently on a voyage in fintech, space building, and is actually a financial titan in Africa, especially with Fund All. And let me tell you this one, ladies and gentlemen, that Tai Wu Obaso is the CEO of Fund All. Tai Wu has 3 years of relative experience in fintech, that product design and management, UI, UX, market research, funnel analysis, data analysis, edutech, finance and growth hacking, and he has delivered over 7% week-on-week growth for 2 consecutive years. And over 100,000 user-based company can give their growth credits to Tai Wu. So he has influenced many and still counting. It's good to see you, Tai Wu, and it's an honor to have you here with us today. So while our judges are taking their time to settle in for the staging open source project presentation, I want to give our interns a few of the housekeeping rules that relate to the staging open source project presentation. I'm sure we are all ready, those of us that are presenting for our groups. So our interns have worked on different real-life projects, ranging from fraud detection to SMS spam, to movie analysis, to the Brazilian commerce, and then to used cars. Now, for you to present your project, I'd like you to remember that you have just 2 minutes to present and dazzle the judges and the audience. Now, after your 2 minutes presentation, which of course will be timed, and then immediately it is 2 minutes, you hear my voice say, it's time, round up in 15 seconds. So at the end of that 15 seconds, our judges will be allowed to ask you any question and make comments as regards your project. Now, at the end of all the presentation, we will now listen to our judges speak. We'll listen to our judges give you recommendations. And other than our judges, we also have experts here on this call that are also willing to give recommendations. Even though they are also part of the panel, they're part of the panelists for the plenary session, they are also willing to give you a few words to help you through. So the first group I'll be calling on now will be the group that worked on analyzing whether a transaction is fraudulent or not. And the presenters for that group are Jolomi Tosonwumi and Precious Oreka.
Yeah, hello, good day, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You need to share your screen now.
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, Jolomi. So please proceed. You have 2 minutes at a time as I count.
Good day, everyone. I'm Jolomi Tosonwumi, and I'm presenting Group 1. Our project title is Credit Card Fraud Detection. These are our team members. Do you know that businesses lose approximately 5% of their revenue to fraudulent transactions? According to Forbes, merchant banks and customers lose a total of $205.8 billion annually to fraud. Credit card fraud is a very serious crime, and detecting it requires speed and accuracy. Existing solution, the rule-based approach and machine learning has been used in detecting fraud. Our data set is cutting from cargo, and it has 284,807 observations. It's heavily unbalanced. And for every one fraudulent transaction, there are 577 legitimate transactions. As part of our EDA, we observe as expected that for legitimate transaction, they were on the low between 2 a.m. and 9 a.m., while fraudulent transaction was on the high for day 1 at 12 noon and for day 2, 3 a.m. We built models ranging from deep learning model and anomaly detection, monitoring the area under position we call curve, the F1 score, and the cost saving. And an example-dependent cost-sensitive XGBoost model was our best model. We tested on our testing set, and our model has a cost saving of 76%, F1 score of 0.87, and for the decline transaction, our model declined 0.1% of the transaction. Of the decline transaction, 91.87% of them were actually fraudulent. Of the approved transaction, 99.97% of them were actually legitimate. We built a Kubeflow pipeline, and we also built a web app that gives our client the opportunity to see real lifetime of the transaction as they go on. And there you can see our client can put in the transaction ID, and then they get the prediction. In some way, our model is one of the best of its kind that we built on this data set. It has a prediction time that is super fast for 15.6 milliseconds, and we encourage investors to invest in it because it can serve as a third-party verification app for credit card companies. Thank you.
This is Charles. Yeah, first of all, that was a good presentation, straight to the point, and I think you nailed it. But if you can back up one slide real quick.
Okay.
No. Where you had the prediction of 15.6 milliseconds, can you provide more context into that? What do you mean by a short prediction time of 15.6 seconds?
Yeah, so what I mean by that is that for every single prediction, for our web app, it takes our web app to load in the serialized trend model and give the prediction, make the prediction available. So that's 15.6 milliseconds.
Okay, so that's for each request. So if there's a spike in traffic, which I think you will know right now, let's say you're having a lot of data streaming in during the peak period of the day when you have a lot of users trying to use the system and you're trying to like inference and see if there's any fraud. Will you still maintain this, or did you simulate that, or this is just for one request? Because you gotta put the right context in place.
Okay, yeah, we didn't put that, we didn't simulate that, but this is just for single prediction, because for us to be able to simulate that, well, we need some data outside of our data set, maybe pretty much amount of data outside of the one we have, so we weren't able to simulate that process.
You have to simulate that. I just want to like level set on that, because in real life, it's a little bit different from when you go to production and you have a lot of people interacting with the system. It's a little bit different from what you're seeing right now. So you need to like just put that in context. But other than that, I think your presentation is great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for the presentation. You mentioned in the beginning about the data being very highly imbalanced. What did you do anything to solve that?
Yeah, we tried a number of approaches in handling data imbalance. From we first started by setting the class with hyperparameter to balance, and that didn't give good result. We tried oversampling using smooth, and we also tried on undersampling. And the best model that we had was now an example dependent cost sensitive XGBoost model. So that model was a kind of robust to the class imbalance, and it gave the best F1 score.
Yeah, so you just set your class POS weight, right?
Yes, we tried the class weight, but it did give a better result compared to the example dependent cost sensitive model.
Oh, okay, and then I have a follow up. So did you do anything to reduce, for example, the number of false positives? So if you're dealing with credit card and fraud transaction, in some cases you want to, of course, you want to find all the fraudulent transactions, but you also want to take it easy on people that it's not fraudulent, and you don't want to always flag them for being fraudulent. Did you Did you do anything to change that?
Yeah, so that was why we made our model to be example dependent. And as you can see from our results here, you see that for our testing set, which is 71,202 transactions, our model declined 0.16%. And of the declined transaction, 91.87% were correct and 99.97% of approved transactions were actually legitimate. So our model, we monitor the F1 score because, like, we know the F1 score gives the right balance between position and the record. So we wanted to reduce false negative and false positive as much as we can. So that's why we monitor the F1 score and the area under position record curve. And that led us to this very model that have this performance.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I have a question around feature engineering. I probably just skip past it, but how much of the feature engineering did you do? Did you have to like derive some? How much work went into that?
Okay, thank you. For the feature engineering, we use the recursive feature elimination cross validation class of scikit-learn. And what it does is that our data set has 30 features. And then what it does is that it trains our baseline model for the 30 features. And at the end of each training, it removes the least important feature and then train for the rest 29 features. So at that, we arrived to 27 most important features. And that was what we did our model upon.
But did you have to normalize or do any scaling with any of the features or all of them?
Yes, we use standard scaler to scale all the features.
Okay, good, thanks.
Thank you.
I was looking at your GitHub repo before now, just like like your thought process and how you went through the whole experimentation phase in the Jupyter Notebook. So I noticed you do PCA, principal component analysis on the code. Can you explain how you arrived, just to like build up on what you did just said, like how you did the PCA to like identify the most important components that are needed for the results?
Okay, thank you. So for the PCA, actually, for the notebook on the Jupyter, on the GitHub repository where we did PCA, our data set has 30 features and 28 of those features were actually anonymized by the dataset provider using PCA transformation. So, like we all know, what PCA does is to make the features become independent, and the long will also anonymize them and then use them for dimensional reduction. So I wanted to show what we did was we wanted to check if the explained variance for the PCA feature provided by our data set provider was actually in accordance to what we expect for PCA transform data. That is the first feature we have the most explained variance and then follow by the next feature like that. So we wanted to confirm if the features were arranged in descending order of explained variance. So that's what we did there. For our model, we did use PCA as part of the pre-processing.
Okay, cool. If you can go to the Qflow pipeline slide.
Okay.
So can you talk a little bit about how you built this pipeline and why your graph looks like this? And Godwin, I know you're on the call. If you want to chime in, I know you've done a lot of work on this as well. Please do.
Okay, all right, thank you. So for our Qflow pipeline, it was built by our data engineers in our team, and this data volume container here is for storage. And here we download our data sets from our GitHub repo, and the fraud detection model container, what it does is to do the preprocessing, and not our data set didn't have much preprocessing per se, but it just only the standard scale, and they just do and train the model. Here we get our prediction, and the prediction comes out as a summary for us to see the important metrics we wanted to evaluate. So that's
have dependency on the original data sets. I'm just trying to, because once you've downloaded the data set in step one, so like let's just say step two, then you feed it to the next stage for the fraud detection, where I believe you have a component for that. Why do you still need to reference the data volume in that case? I don't know if your data engineers on the call and can chime in on that.
Okay, I believe Kineshi should be on the call, but from what he told me was just in case this is like a storage, the data volume is a storage, just in case there is any loss of information in any of the container, we can always fall back to the data volume.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just look through the code. I'll look through that part, but I'll look through it and I'll follow up with that other question. Let me know. Cool, good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one last question. So this is really exciting, but while you guys were working on this, were you thinking about how to apply it to a Nigerian system, and what kind of challenge do you see, and what makes you excited about stuff like this?
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, we thought about applying to Nigeria system, and the first challenge we encounter is the availability of data sets. You know, the data we worked on is easily available on Cargo and provided by the European card holders. And for stuff like this, because of the sensitivities, banking transactions, most banks and financial institutions may want to hold back some of that information. They may not want to give it to us for us to work with. That is a major challenge we face if we want to take this project to the Nigeria context. But for now, we just wanted to have something working, so we work with the European data set provided on Cargo.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joloni. I think that was also a wonderful one.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next group. This group is coming to tell us the analysis about spam SMSs. So to represent our group will be Abibula Agbaje and Chizurum Olorondo. Yes, so we can see your screen and you can start now.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Habibullah Agbaje, and I will be presenting for my group on the topic SMS spam detection. Here are my group members. Now, according to Truecaller in Nigeria, all their users receive 30 spam messages and 8.4 spam calls per month, 20% higher than the figures recorded last year. So the purpose of this project was to develop a web app that could correctly classify an SMS as spam or not. Now, from a brief survey we carried out on some Nigerians, we validated that people sometimes receive various fraudulent SMS spam, as seen here. So we initially tried to classify spam into their various categories, but we couldn't due to lack of essential data. But we were able to get some Nigerian SMS data from Data Science Nigeria, so our model can correctly classify spam SMS specific to Nigeria. So with the data from DSN and our initial Cargo data set, we had a total of 6,012 classified messages. We then approached it like an NLP project and did some EDA and had to do some weight balancing, then text processing. And we tested a bunch of models with emphasis on increasing the precision scores, with harm being our positive case, so as to reduce the possibility of classifying important messages as spam. And the best model with a precision score of 0.9871 was the bidirectional LSTM. We then created a pipeline using this model that could be deployed to live production systems to service the much larger needs of corporations, and deployed our app on Heroku to service the needs of a single consumer. Now, so far, we've been able to classify SMS as either spam or not with a 98% precision. Hopefully, going forward with more access to relevant data, we can further classify the spam into its various categories, i.e. job spam, financial spam, promo spam. And now this is a recorded session of a spam prediction process with our web app. Now, imagine you get a message saying you just won 1 million naira. Now, we don't know if that is sure, but you can easily copy and paste it into our app to check its authenticity, as shown in this video. So this is the spam app, the spam message. It has predicted it, and now we're about to predict the harm message. And it predicts it correctly. So thank you.
Thank you, Habib. I was going to say your time is up. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Habib. Good job. So you mentioned that you guys used different techniques, and the BioLSTM was the best model.
Yes.
How did you what feature representation technique did you use for your text before feeding it into your BioLSTM?
We did the basic text processing. That's by doing vectorization. We did the tokenization, and we did removal of the stop words, and we did removal of the stop words. Those are the main things that we did before feeding it into our model.
Oh, you understand? So so you did all those NLP pre-processing. So I was asking mostly about sort of vector representation of your text. Were you using TF-IDF or what to vec? What did you use and what worked well in this case?
We didn't really use vector TF-ID to do the vectorization. We used I think we just did
bag of words.
You said?
What's the bag of words?
Bag of words? No. Are you talking about to get the stop words and the?
No. So I don't know if you're using. I'm guessing you're using Keras or BioLS term, right? So, you should have probably be using Keras. So did you have like an embedding layer? Oh, I can check your code.
I don't think we used. We just went. The layer was created. The layers were created individually, but I don't think we used any vectorization techniques after the descent. I wasn't the one that did this, worked on that particular model, but I know we didn't. From what I saw with it, I don't think we did any extra vectorization on the word processor.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Quick question. So I've actually done some things on this page before, and one of the challenges we had then was you use emojis in text, which it's not formal language, and people use slangs and stuff like that. So
sorry, I didn't get that last part.
Yeah. So if you're dealing with text like SMS, like if I want to text my brothers or my parents and stuff like that, you use shorthands like dat, dat, or you use slangs and you mix it with like your local language and all those contexts. And that's the way people communicate. It's all formal. So how do you deal with informal way of like, it's not like normal English. So is your model able to classify it? Like, okay, if I want to classify something that is not out of context, emojis, icons, and all those things, how did you represent that?
Okay, I believe we left that to the model to find out on its own, because we didn't really go into the fact of removing, classifying the emojis and the icons that could have been put into SMS messages. And from the text that we got, we didn't really have messages that had emojis and text in them, but we were able to classify messages that normal people will send, even if it's short forms. And
I mean, a lot of spam messages have emojis. So if there's an emoji in there, how will you go about solving that? Unless there is in your pipeline.
So far, we've been, from all the text that we've tried to predict with our model, it has actually predicted them correctly as either not spam or spam. So I feel maybe the model has been able to learn enough from the examples that we've given it to train on to recognize if there's any emoji or not on it.
Okay. What about the language? Because a lot of all these messages are localized to like language and things like that. And if someone wants to get you via spam, they'll try to like pander to what you want to see. And if I'm in like Lagos, I'll teach you what's in Lagos. So if someone is sending a text to you in that local context, do you take that awareness into play whenever you're building that model? That, okay, this model needs to see a lot of this and not generalize the model?
It's more of a generalized model in English and maybe Pidgin English, because that's mainly what people who talk in Nigeria. So we didn't generalize it to the level of the individual languages. I believe maybe if we were to go further, we can look into that as well, getting more training data.
So how did you eliminate Pidgin stop words?
You said?
If you have a Pidgin stop word, how will you eliminate that? Like, what are the stop words in Pidgin like?
We didn't get particular stop words for Pidgin. We used the stop words from the NLTK package for Python. Those are the stop words we used.
So I mean, I'm just trying to explain that. Doing it that will may create like an implicit bias because it's all localized to a lot of people that will be receiving this message. So If someone says you don't win 1 million and put like a @ sign behind it, your model may not be able to pick that because it's not in the context and it's not seen something like that before. So, and that's a big problem. If you're trying to solve a problem for a particular context and you're not taking that into play, and you're trying to generalize it, then the model may fail in some places where it should work.
Okay, I follow what you're saying now, but I also believe that once we are able to get enough text messages that are from Nigeria, that's why we based it in Nigeria, because everybody in Nigeria is usually, if you are messaging somebody, you're comfortable, and for those that are trying to send spam, they will want to target their people. So if we already have classified messages, then the model will be able to learn from what they already classified messages.
Basically, once people start using your system and you get a lot of messages in the process, then you can now understand the kind of stuff they expect you to say.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you.
I have a two-part question. One is from a business perspective, what will be the customer for this model? And then keeping that in mind, how do you expect it to work in production? And what we do differently? Okay, you have something in production now. How do you expect it to work and perform in production?
For that question, I believe I will leave it to our data engineer because he worked on the pipeline, and that is where it will work in production. So I think Chizorum can.
So that's why I said a two-part question. The first part is a data science question. So what's the business? Where do you think this will be? Who will be a best customer for this? And the pipeline question could be a data engineer.
I believe for the first question, the consumer will be any normal consumer, you, me, everybody that receives messages on a daily basis. So you just be able to copy the message and paste it in the app to find out if it's a spam or non-spam. To find out if you don't have any any spam detection app or anything, you can easily just copy the message and go to our app. But for companies that would need maybe a pipeline and be receiving a lot of messages or have to go through a lot of messages, as when our pipeline comes into play. So,
okay.
Chizorum, I don't know, if you can answer the second. Is that okay for the two questions? Or?
Yeah, that's fine. I think that kind of covers my two questions. Thanks.
Yeah, I think, sorry, can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I think you hear me.
Okay, yeah. So, I think to add to what Habib said, I feel like to service the need of the single customers or single consumers, our app would be able to service them. While for the more corporate kind environment, basically any company with a mailing system, our pipeline can serve as a fraud, kind of like a fraud or spam detector, fraud from the end of the people working in the company. So the pipeline will be positioned in a way that it's takes in every outgoing and incoming messages. And the way we designed the model basically was to be able to split in the data based on his predictions as spam or not spam. So he splits it into a particular stream containing non-spam messages and split it into another stream containing spam messages. So the idea is the spam messages goes to the spam box, while the regular messages goes directly to the regular inbox. So we could use that to monitor the communications and help help to detect fraud in. It can actually maybe detect fraud in the by the part of the people working in the companies, and also for hackers or potential spammers.
Yeah. And the other thing you can do is you want to when now there's a lot, everybody talk as if they're subject matter experts. So there's a lot of fake news and fake articles out there. So you can know the velocity at which the fake information is spreading and hand it over to people that can deal with it or cover it.
Yeah. I quickly wanted to answer an initial question that was asked. We actually used TF-IDF transformer in our very first model, and that was right after using a normal count vectorizer to vectorize the text input. And we saw very kind of low result compared to our best models. We saw about 81% precision for spam messages, and we felt like, okay, it was time to try out another technique. We also used lemmatization, and we felt that the model would, the keywords there that were basically very present in the spam messages, like free, call, and wherever, were kind of sufficient to properly detect which messages were spam and not. For another one, we actually would add the removal of punctuation marks and emojis to, like, we can add that to the pre-processing text to kind of remove confusion from our model. And we could actually get more training data. Like, it was actually in our future plan to like add a report button in our app, which people could use to actually report spam messages on our web app. So that way we feel like it was a sound model. We're providing users with a means which they could verify whether their text was spam or not. And what we're asking back from them was that you should give us any SMS you identify as spam, and we could add that to our corpus and our training data sets to properly improve the model with time.
Yeah. One quick question though. I was looking at the source code in the repo, and one of the things I saw, like, you guys use LSTM with Keras. Can you explain that part of the code, or was it something you were experimenting with before you got to the real day?
I think Habib will better please answer that.
So, sorry, I didn't get the question. I'm sorry.
So in your source code, I was looking at the source code you committed on the Git repo, and I see you guys are using LSTM in some, as part of your experimentation. Can you explain what you were trying to do with LSTM in that case, and what part of the modeling required LSTM with Keras?
Okay, I should explain why we ended up using LSTM.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay, we tried different models, and we're just trying to make sure the precision score was as high as possible, because what we're trying to get is that the not to classify an important message as a spam message. That was our main goal with the whole. So that's why the precision score was the main factor in choosing the model that we were going to use. And overall, okay.
Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, go ahead.
So overall, the models that we tried, the bidirectional LSTM was the highest of them all.
Okay. I will check it out in detail. I'll get back to you. All right, thank
okay.
you.
I can actually add to that. The LSTM is actually thinking of it. The LSTM is properly kind of more suited to this particular problem, because from time to time we would have, if it's actually in a production system, from time to time you have huge streams of data coming in, and you want the model to actually pay attention to to some words, because some particular spam keywords could be habitually changed by these spammers. Once they notice, okay, there's a model that is detecting our messages, and they would maybe try to make some modifications to their messages. And so having an LSTM model knows properly the model will properly know what to eliminate or delete, or the words to eliminate or delete, and what to keep. And in the long run, it would actually make our model more robust towards these changes the spammers make.
Okay. And do you know what LSTM model is typically used for? What kind of problem is solved with LSTM model?
I think it's usually used for mostly kind of like sequential data sets. It's also used in time series analysis.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, your model is going through the pattern of text and trying to see the sequence of calls, and it's been mapped as a spam or ad, and basically use that to do the classification.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Thank you, Abib. Thank you, Chizuru, for that word there. So we'll move on to the next group. The next group that have worked on analyzing movies, and to present for us today will be Chigozie Umboni and Gura J. Chigozie.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
Chigozie. Yes, we can hear you. Chigozie.
Sharing of the screen while I speak.
Please proceed.
Please, can you hear me? I am not seeing this yet.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chigozie, but it's breaking.
What about now? Can you hear me better?
We can hear you now, Chigozie. So I just
Hello,
restarted.
can you hear me?
Chigozie, we can hear you. The time has started.
Okay, let me start. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chigozie Mbonu, representing Group 3 Movie Analysis. It is safe to say that the primary goal of every commercially produced movie, but the question still remains unanswered. Why do some movies sell more than others? We aim to uncover this mystery as a bonus where we asked to see if we could classify or not. Our approach was to first collect the data for the pre-processed data with our text. The data set comprised of 2 CSV files with a total of 24 features and 4,000 observations of movies collected from 1917 to 2017. And these are some of our EDAs we performed. For our tax 1, to classify the movie genres, we used SPACY to define our documents from the corpus, which was the job role of the crew members. And we then used the count vectorizer to make the text data ingestible by a machine classifier, which had the best evaluation metrics. For the second work, we tried to see if there was a natural divide amongst the two classes of production studios based on the numerical values using clustering algorithm. The K-means did a pretty poor job in visualizing this divide, so we tried deep embedding clustering algorithm, which did a far better job in showing the divide. We built a pipeline for the classification model. On a summary note, over the last 10 years, movies saw a whooping increase in ROI, predominantly movies released between May and June, and also movies. The major film studios generally had higher budgets, more popular actors, more genres, which accounted for most of their successes. You can check out our project website for more insights on what we did. Thank you.
Thank you. Our judges now. Over to our judges now.
Zoliet and Godwin, I know you guys have been doing a lot of work on this kind of projects. Do you have any questions based on what you've done lately with us? I will prompt over my questions to you guys.
So I don't have any question currently because I didn't actually see what he was doing. It was too fast and the background was noisy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of noise in the background, so that really affected things. So let me just take up some of it for you then. Can you talk a little bit about your model so that people can get caught up on this? The audio was a little bit glitchy.
Okay, so basically, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we had 2 tasks to perform on this model. Let me show you the slides. So for the first task, we choose to decide whether a movie is animated or non-animated based on the movie crew labels. Basically, the crew jobs title which we had, the persons working in that movie. So we wanted to try that whether we can classify those movies as animated or non-animated based on the jobs which we had. So for that we did the natural language processing. We tried various models. First one was the multinomial time-based model. Before that, we as a standard NLP technique goes on, we use the count vectorizer and we made a bag of words, followed by fitting up the model. And here were the results of this. And then we tried the support vector classifier, which gave us the better results in the terms of F1 score, recall, precision, because it was a classification task. So we cannot solely rely on accuracy. So we used other parameters to judge the model also. So here in the support vector classifier, we were able to get better results. We used a linear classifier. Also, as a pre-processing feature and handling the data quality issues, we also took the movies only where crew members are more than 7, because it's not practically feasible to have a movie with less than 7 crew members. So we took that as a what do you say, as a default value, as a minimum saturation level for a movie for to get trained in this model.
Okay.
For the second task, we it was more of an analysis-based task where we want to study the divide between the major big production houses of the movies, and other ones are the individual production houses, the independents. So what make them different, how they are different, and can we cluster them separately on the data we had. So firstly, we tried the k-means clustering, where we first did the principal component analysis and reduced the dimensionality of the data to 2 features, and then we tried to cluster it. Although
what were the 2 major features that you after doing the PCA on the data?
So basically, we had all the components, and we transformed it by what you say, 85% of the variance. We hold on the 85% of the variance for PC, and finally got a 2-dimensional data.
Okay.
And then as you can see, we don't get so much clear divide. It was a bit of merging divide. So we tried another model, which was deep embedded clustering model. There we used TSNE dimensionality reduction, and subsequently passed into autoencoder. Soft labeling was then implemented on that. Here we can see there was a clear divide between the 2 clusters. So then after that, we tried to study why there was a clear divide. On our GitHub repo, you can see the analysis like that. The big production houses were are able to invest more in the movies because of the budget issues, and then also they made variety of genres as compared to the independent houses. They independent houses generally focus on single type of movies, and whereas the big production houses throughout the year, they use various type of genres for the movies. Also, they the one thing to be noticed is the big production houses generally target a specific period of the year to release their movie, which make them more revenue of the movie. The ROI of the movie was more because of that particular months. Those months were June, July, where summer break generally happens. So the families and all have a break and they go watch the movie. So this was our analysis for those 2 tasks. And for the task 1, which was the classification task, we also made a pipeline. Here is the pipeline. You can see this.
So stay on the pipeline for a second. So were you
Yes,
running multiple models concurrently to see what you selected, or how did you do it? So you have model training and exploratory data. Can you just walk us through the workflow of what you're trying to achieve and what you did out there?
So for that, I would request our data engineer in the team who made this pipeline. He will assist you better in that.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Basil, are you here in the meeting? Okay, I think he's having some issues. Till then, I can explain you some bit from my knowledge. So basically, first we had created a volume of the data, and then we for the exploratory data analysis, we did a pre-processing, and for the model training, as I told you, like we made a threshold value of 7 crew members. For that, we did a separate pre-processing data function here, and then we moved towards the model training and then model validation, followed by the analysis we had from that and the confusion matrix. And for confusion matrix, we use the data input data as well for creating that.
Okay. So this is the output of the confusion matrix log, and that's what
Yes,
you
sir.
have also.
Yes, so basically we use confusion matrix to classify like whether this model is good for us or not, because it was a classification task. And yeah.
So if you decide to switch the model, how do you change the input hyperparameters to like tell the model to do something else, or to select a different model implementation? Because what I was expecting based on what you showed in the diagram is like you have the naive-based approach, you have the SVM approach, and I forgot the third one. So were you able to like do pipelines for all these 3 different things and switch it up based on what you want to do, or how was this pipeline working?
Yes, so basically we tried all the models on what we did. We split the data in train, test, split, and then after training the model, we judged each model on the basis of their test scores and the F1 accuracy score which we got, and then we selected the best model which gave the best results out of those, or keeping in mind that it doesn't overfit the model.
Okay. So and when you got done with this, how do you intend to run this in production? Do you export the model and like you have a frozen model that you export and use for inferencing, or you run a batch data set and get the model every day and you do like a offline prediction, or is it going to be in real time? How you do the inferencing and stuff like that?
So we did for pipeline, we did the training and testing stuff on the Google Cloud platform.
Okay. So let's say what I'm trying to get at is like, let's say you train your model, you have my preference, and you're kind of like a Netflix in court, and I want to watch a movie, and I'm a new person to your platform. I want to watch a movie. How do you make a recommendation for me?
So basically, our target audience was the movie production houses. Like, what can our model basically did an analysis on what's like if a movie is successful or not, what's all thing going behind this, and what are the various parameters. So it was not for targeted towards specific towards the individual audience, but more towards the production houses and movie creators.
Okay, so it's more for like the content producers and
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not like
Yes,
the consumers.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We can say like it's a B2B product, sort of.
B2B product. So how do you recommend for if someone wants to produce a movie and they come to you and they tell you the features of the movie, how do you recommend to them or predict if that movie is going to be a blockbuster?
So basically, we had made a notebook for whole analysis where we had which on the various parameters, the date of release, genres of the movies, which particular keywords to use, which not to use in a specific genre of the movies, and all those are present in the GitHub repository. So whosoever is the content producer or the production house, they can modify their own result. For example, let's say I'm a producer and I want to produce a sci-fi movie. So, and let's say I had made the keyword of a movie and I want to check whether it will work fine or not, then I can see our GitHub repo, the project repo, and I can conclude and can modify my work according to the word cloud we made. This is, for example, in sci-fi movies, alien word is more predominantly used and it's more popular. And so I can use that terminology in my keywords. Similarly, I can check if I'm like for example, releasing a movie in December. So I can check whether movies released in December give more profits or not, or is it better to give it in January? So we have presented the whole analysis, and the producer can modify his movie or his content or various parameters based on our analysis.
No, okay. All right, cool. I'll check out the code and come back to you guys with more questions.
Thank you, sir.
Very interesting. Thank you.
And for to make our project interesting for the the audience who wants to who watches movie a lot, so we made a movie analysis website. So there we have a movie trivia section where the audiences just can check their knowledge about the most popular movie, the worst movie in this era, and all that stuff, the highest budgeted movie and highest revenue movie and all that stuff. So to make it more interesting, it's an additional feature for the common people.
Cool. And do you have a link to this in the GitHub, in the Git repo, or?
Yes, sir. It's present on the Git repo. I'll share the link on the chat box.
All right, cool. We'll check it out. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions?
No questions, Zoliet and Godwin, do you have any questions for Gaurav?
I don't have any.
All right, so thank you. Does Wally have any question?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, moving on. The next group has worked to analyze Brazilian commerce. And to represent our group this evening, we have Oluwatosi Olajide and Efemena Edeba Jerry. Okay, we can see your screen. Your time has started counting.
Sorry, give me a second. Okay. Okay, my name is Jerry. I am from Group 4, and we worked on the OLIS data set from Brazil. It comprises of 9 different data sets, and we had to merge this data set into one master data frame from which we did our initial analysis. Our analysis revealed 2 things to us: that despite increase in sales from launch, there is a very low percentage of returning customer. And that secondly, there was also a decline in sales from 2018. To better understand this, my team and I decided to do further ADA on the data, and we performed customer churn analysis. With this customer churn analysis, we discovered that 96% of the buyers are one-time buyers, and that factors that could have contributed to these are the delivery time, the customer experience, and price. To understand the customer experience, we use NLP to perform sentimental analysis on customer reviews. And while most of the reviews seem favorable, there were others who pointed to issues regarding delivery time, not receiving their orders, and low quality of delivered goods, amongst others. We also went as far as building a pipeline for the sentimental analysis model. After the analysis on the declining sales, we did a time series model using F profits. This pointed to further decline in sales in the future. And from the above, it is obvious that OLIS has a major crisis on its hand if not properly handled. So that is why we made the following recommendations: that they should have to find a way to reduce their delivery time by improving logistics. This they could achieve by having additional storage facilities in major cities. They should also do more promotional activities, such as targeted marketing on locations where new storage facilities are created. Lastly, we deployed a web app containing the sentimental analysis. This is to help the executive understand the customer reviews so that they can make immediate decisions as regards how to improve their customer experiences. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry. And I think this is a similar question that I asked the guys that did this the SMS data set. How did you do your text representation? And this is very peculiar because it's in Brazilian Portuguese, right? So I just wanted to know how you analyze the text and what sort of vector representation that you used before by LST.
Okay, now you would observe that we tried translating Google Translate to English, but we realized that when translated to English, it might wrongly translate some of these words. And in the Brazilian setup, because the reviews are in Portuguese, and as a result of that, we might not be able to get the exact stop word. So we decided to use Portuguese for our model, and that is why you see that the web app that we deployed takes analysis only on Portuguese. But if one also wants to translate, you can also note that there's translation there as well.
Yes, yeah, you still have to translate text. So what I'm asking is that you analyzed your data in Portuguese, right? And so you did a lot of, you did stop words, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so you did stop words. It means that you had to get stop words in Portuguese. And not even Portuguese, basically Portuguese in sort of a Brazilian context. Okay. And then another thing also, and did you do word embeddings?
Yes,
I didn't get you.
Okay, you did word embeddings, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And so your word, did you use just an embedding layer, or did you use a pre-trained word-to-vec already trained with Brazilian Portuguese words?
We used a word embedding layer, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay, just a word embedding. Okay. Another thing I also need to mention to a lot of, especially the guys that did NLP, this is more of a comment, is that if you're using maybe some sort of word embedding, maybe Keras embedding layer, or you're training your own word-to-vec, or you're using a pre-trained word-to-vec or doc-to-vec or whatever, you don't necessarily need to do the text pre-processing. So you actually don't need to remove stop words or do some sort of stemming or lemmatization, because the idea of word embeddings is to get more contextual representation of the text. So all those stop words are actually going to help the embedding to understand the context much more better. So the extra steps of just removing those stuff sometimes would make the embeddings or the representation lose meanings to the word. So I think that's a comment that I wanted to mention. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much for that. Any other questions?
Okay. I don't know if Charles has any questions for Jerry.
I think good job. I think it's impressive. I'm going to pass on this. Let me see. Can you just tell us a little bit about your Qflow components?
Okay. Okay, so what we did was, after creating the data volume, we downloaded the data set, we cleaned it, and then we did map review rating. Now, what we were trying to achieve there was, since we are doing a supervised learning, we had to convert the reviews to ones and zeros. And we had review rating from 1 to 5. So 1 and 2 were seen as negative reviews, then 4 and 5 are seen as positive reviews. So we use 1 and 2 as zeros and 4 and 5 as ones. And then 3, which is neutral per se, we removed it from map review rating. And so any review that has 1 and 2 goes to zeros, and any review that has 4 and 5 goes to 1. And after doing that, we went to the test preprocessing, and from there we train our data set, and then we did prediction.
Since I think you're online, can you flip to the source code again, and let's just walk me through the map review rating real quick, the component for that and the Git repo.
Okay, let me open.
Yeah. Let's just talk through it and see what you did. In the component itself, not the pipeline.
Okay, let me open that. So, sorry, I didn't get what you said. You said the notebook we use for the...
No, I said the map review component. Can you show me and just walk through the code and let's see what you did? I just want to see that component in itself.
Okay, So can you see my screen?
Oh yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I think
this is it. This is it. This is what we did. Now, this is what we did on it. The review, mapping the rating there, review data rating. This was where we decided that 3 will be seen as neutral. Anything greater than or less than 3 will be seen as neutral, and the rest will be 1s and 0s. And the review data here is where we dropped 3 from the scores. Is where we dropped 3 from the scores, and every other will now either marked into either 1 or 0.
Okay. And you print the output in your, okay, cool.
Yes.
Good stuff.
All right, thank you.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. So I noticed you went to the lightweight components. I wanted to ask, what made you go with that instead of with the cheap flow usable components?
Sorry, I didn't get what you said, Lincoln.
Okay, so you know in cheap flow there are 2 methods of creating components: the light and the reusable method. So your team used the lightweight components. So I would like to know why.
I can echo his question. So it said in Qflow component, there are 2 ways of creating components: the lightweight and doing it in source code. It's like, why did you go with this approach over the other approach? Because this basically allows you to quickly do things. And the other approach is for you to add in the component and make it into a source file that sits in a Docker and stuff like that. So why did you go with this approach over the other approach? I think that was
okay. I think basically the reason why we went for this was because we were using free Google TIA GCP, and we only had I think 8 CPUs available, and to be able to do the other, we need at least 16 CPUs for that. So we are using free GCP, and that was why we went for this.
So what do you mean by that? Like, if you want to run a pipeline, it basically, I don't understand that explanation.
Okay, now in order to load Kubeflow and be able to create volumes on Kubernetes, Kubeflow on GCP normally requests for 16 GPU as the lowest to deploy. But we're using the free, and the free only has 8 GPUs.
CPU or GPU?
CPU, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, but so basically you're mapping the data volume and you're reading it. So, but did you consider probably just putting that, just doing it, having a component that does a wget and pulls the CSV file, and you can just push it along downstream instead of like picking it up from the volume?
Yeah, that's also a possibility that we could have tried.
Yeah, so that will have eliminated that problem.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. So we'll move now to the next team. This team has worked on analyzing used cars. So to represent that team will be Suta Salu and Oluwasayo Akinkumi. Suta Salu, you can start sharing your screen. Okay. Yes, we can see your screen.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, and your time has started counting.
Okay, the used car market is way bigger than the market for new cars. This is especially true in recent times as car companies took a hit in production. But however, there's a lot of ambiguity in terms of price. This leaves buyers and sellers, companies and individuals asking the same question: what is the right price? Currently, finding the right price requires the aid of car appraisal companies, or for individuals manually reviewing multiple car sites and comparing price. To tackle this problem, we used user-imputed data from Craigslist. There was a long data cleansing process, as most of our missing values were found available in the description column in an unstructured format. Here we look at the average price from our different categories. You can see the pickup option dominating its category. After processing our data set, we tested several models on it. Our best performer was the extra trees regressor, which had the highest R2 of over 92 or over 90%, and the lowest RMSC value. We also went further to do some feature analysis on what's impacted on the model, saying that the odometer and car age had the highest influence on our predictions. We also built, or we solved our model using the Google AI platform so that we can link it up to a web app. In summary, I'll say that our solution is of great benefit to both buyers and sellers, as used car companies will gain more insight into the valuation of their used cars. Online pricing services can improve their services using the power of predictive analysis, and individuals, both buyers and sellers, can gain understanding into the actual market value of their used car. Thank you.
Thank you, Suta.
Yeah, thank you for the talk, for the presentation. One quick question: Do you guys have information about the model of the car and the type? Because I'm not sure.
The manufacturer and model is a part of our...
Can I see feature importance again?
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that now. Then another follow-up question is that I was wondering, especially in the Nigerian context, right? There are websites like Gigi and Checky.ng. Did you guys try to get data? Huh?
We are not able to get data, but they are like a key part of our who we are building for. So Cars 45 or other used car companies, online pricing services like Gigi. A huge part, yeah.
Are you guys planning to do that?
Yeah, like a long-term goal, like would be to be able to package something, or in the Nigerian context, data from that to test, because this is just from Craigslist, and like there could be a lot of biases based on Craigslist or the United States. It's not really transferable.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I asked it, I think it would be very, very interesting and also important, especially in Nigeria, where the industry basically is used cars, right? So I would say you guys should, try and see. I think you can probably script data if you're not using it for commercial purposes. Script the data for Checky, for example. I know Checky is actually curated, so they have their own people look at whatever people want to sell, and then they also have labels on them. They tell you if the price is high, if it's medium, or if it's low, and then you can actually use that as some sort of validation or benchmark for your model. And then you can also take the ones that are more public, like Gigi, for example, and then you can check. So I think this would, you get more value if it's applied to the Nigerian context. But nonetheless, I think it's a good project. Thank you.
I'd like to echo Wale's what Wale just said. So one question I have is, if you think about this from a use case perspective, as a user, I probably won't want to like type in the model of the car I saw on the road, what car type it is. So have you guys thought about some kind of computer vision that will help with that? Because I can see people take pictures.
That was like one of our earliest ideas, because like we have an image. there's an image URL column. So like to process that into like data points that people can like use that way. Yeah, it was like one of our ideas before like we got bogged down with missing values and like extraction.
Okay, cool. This great work, guys.
Yeah. So back to Jide. So there's someone at Insight in my cohort that worked on something similar, but mostly it was looking at the quality of the pictures. So it was looking at the quality of the pictures. So based on the properties of the pictures, the ones that are high quality, you actually get sort of more dollars based on the kind of pictures. If you get professional to take the picture,
crowdfunding that.
Yeah. So yeah, using the image URL also will be very nice. Yeah.
Cool. Quick question. So I was looking through the code actually. I noticed you guys are using Katib for hyperparameter tuning. Can you explain what you were doing, or whoever worked on that? Can you explain what you were doing with that?
Sorry, your question is on the pipeline. Or what?
Oh yeah, the pipeline. Yeah. So I noticed that you guys used Katib. Can someone explain that, what you were trying to do with that, and what you did, and what part of it?
Oluwaseyo is our resident data engineer.
Cool.
Oluwaseyo Akinkumi.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Yeah, so what we tried doing with Katib was to get the best RMSE score. So Katib is mainly a framework for hyperparameter tuning. So we wanted to see the combination of hyperparameters that would give us the lowest RMSE score, and that would actually make the model perform much better. So that's why we with Katib.
Oh yeah. So can you explain how you went about that, or were you just experimenting with it, or was it something you guys actually used for your model selection?
Yeah, we were just experimenting because the data scientists had already tried out, a bunch of traditional machine learning algorithms. So we just rather took the best model and see, if we can actually get something better. So that's why we tried that.
Okay. Cool. Then okay, yeah, I'll follow up with you guys on that. Then if you flip back, I noticed you guys use Dataflow with that's Apache Beam. I think that just caught my eyes. Yeah. So
yes.
Before that, I thought I saw a slide with Dataflow. Yeah. So what were you guys doing with Apache Beam with Cloud Run on this?
Yeah, so we had a lot of problems processing the data, and some of us actually had our laptops, crashing and all that.
Yeah.
So we felt it would not be nice to actually take such huge amount of data and process it.
How big is the data set?
It's about 1 gigabyte.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. So we wanted to separate the pre-processing from the actual machine learning pipeline. So we were actually able to achieve that using Apache Beam, and we ran the whole processing on Dataflow. So if you see, we have two branches after the filter step there. So what we did there was to separate that description column, because the description column has a lot of text data. It actually accounts for, all the megabytes of data from that data set. So we had to just separate that together with some other columns that we didn't really need for the pipeline. So we created two BigQuery tables and stored the data there.
Yeah, so I mean that must have been very expensive for you to bootstrap BigQuery. I mean, who paid for this?
It's all part of the free tier. We did not have to pay anything. And Google Query has BigQuery has 1 terabyte free free data processing per month. So we're able to just, use out of that.
He's like, okay, you guys are on the free tier. So basically, I mean, I know it's good to like do this with like the pre-processing, like writing Apache Beam and trying to do that.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I said I know it's good to like just try to do this with the Apache Beam and data flow, and running it through the pipeline and stuff like that. It's good, but did you consider just loading the data from the Google storage straight into BigQuery and just write a SQL query on it to select the columns you need and basically pre-process the data using just BigQuery and a bunch of SQL. So that way you don't have to go through the data flow step. It's a good exercise, don't get me wrong, but did you ever consider that? So that way you just, because the data is already in Google storage, you can just load it up and write a SQL to like pick up the columns you need and all your ETLs.
Yes, we considered that, but we had to do some extraction from the description column. Like I said earlier, the description column has a lot of text as regards the particular car for that, as regards that particular observation. So we had to extract some features like the car color and the car type and all that to fill out some of the missing.
Okay. Yeah, I was asking if you guys have the data set, if you can flash it on the screen so that we can see it real quick. Yeah, keep going.
Suta should be able to do that.
Okay. I was just trying to look at a data set for that column. So you said the description column, right?
Yeah.
So it contains a lot of unstructured data that you guys need to like pass out and extract the content.
Yes, it did.
Okay. Cool. And do you have a sample data set? I'm trying to like just eyeball it from the Jupyter notebook, but I don't think I see anything. Okay. Okay. I think I see it now. Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. This is impressive. Good stuff. And what you did out here, what did you use for that? Is it like scikit-learn or what? Graphing tool is this?
For what?
For like visualizing the missing data sets.
This is SNS. That's Seaborn. This one, yeah. The others were Tableau.
Okay, Tableau. Okay. All right, cool. Good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. I guess this has been a wonderful presentation. Thank you to all the members of the groups that have presented. Let's take the next 10 seconds to, answer, to take part of the poll that is in front of your screen right now, so that we can hear what you have to say about the presentation. The first question is, what's the best word to describe the presentations? And the next one is, what would you say to our interns? I'm ending the poll now, so if you've not answered, please take your time to do that. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I'm ending the poll, so you can see the results and see what you think of our interns. 48% of our participants here on Zoom are saying that the presentation has been wonderful, incredible, great, and amazing. And as well, 52% of our participants are telling our interns, great job. Well, thank you. We've heard your voice, but let's hear from the interns. Let's hear what they have to say. So we'll also, they want to share their story in the next 5 minutes before we proceed onto the plenary session. But before the plenary session, we'll have to listen to Charles, to Wale, to Jide, and to everybody give their recommendation about the project, how they can improve. We'll do that. We'll listen to our interns first in the next 5 minutes, listen to our judges and our special guests, Wale, Charles, Jide, Tolu, Biodun, give the recommendations in the next 5 minutes, and then we'll move on to the plenary session.
Hi, my name is Sharon Ibeji. I joined Hamoye Internship in July, and since then, it's one of the experiences that has boosted my career growth in data science. I would advise anyone who wants to join the externship next year that they should be open-minded, they should be eager to learn. These were things that helped me during the internship. Aside that, I also got some materials on helped me out. I made friends with people in the internship who were better than me. During the open source project as well, I was opportune to take up the leadership role as a project lead, as a project analyst, and then as a project assistant. These were things that helped my leadership skill. I coordinated a team and were able to meet up the deadline. So I'm so grateful to Hamoye for this opportunity to be part of the internship. I'm grateful to everyone who helped me during the internship. I'm also grateful to friends who I made, people from data science, data engineering, data storytelling. It was quite a wonderful experience, and I would love anyone who is interested to go ahead and join the experience. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Gordon Ekainu, and I'm a data scientist at Hamoye AI Lab. Working with the team at Hamoye has been fun and exciting. I've learned a lot, especially in machine learning engineering and machine learning operations space. I work a lot with and Kubernetes, and I've solved every bit of it. I've had no issue switching over from my university degree into becoming a data scientist. In fact, I found it very easy as I studied computer science specialization. At Hamoye, I work with teams at different time zones. This was different. I was able to adjust. Very keen to getting an opportunity like this.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to our interns for sharing your story. I'm sure we'll still get to listen to that. Our interns have done what they can refer to as their best. So let's ask our experts here what they think. So maybe I should start with Charles.
Man, I just want to say thanks for everyone for coming on today, and I'm really impressed by what I've seen, and it's always a good source of energy when you see people doing very interesting things, and I'm learning a lot from this process as well. Basically, looking at your codes is like, oh, okay, you did this, I can go improve my own code like that, and that's the best feeling in the world when you see people growing and you can learn from them, and it's not just you giving out all the time, but people around you growing and they can give back to you, and you're basically improving each other. So trust me, I'm going to go after your source code that you have on the open source repo. I'll go there and learn a lot, and I hope you won't mind if I steal some of the code and use it in my own thing. So it's been interesting. The thing about knowledge and intelligence is it could be a burden if you're intelligent, if you can apply it. But the way your knowledge gets appreciated is for you to be able to apply it and solve problems for others. And this whole journey and this whole process is to equip you to do that, so that you know enough to be able to solve problems around you. You know enough to understand how things work, and you're not just a consumer. The problem with a lot of people is like they consume stuff. You're all on TikTok or Facebook or Twitter, and you're consuming things and stuff like that. But at some point, you need to change your orientation to learn how to create things like that. So, and I think that's part of the goal of this journey, where we can get into this together, learn from each other, build something, so that 3, 4, 5 years from now, we won't be surprised if someone from Hamoye builds the largest social networking company in the world, is applying AI to solve a problem to make people's life a lot more better. So I think I'm excited about that possibility. I know we're on track to do that. So I'm looking for more success. Whatever you've done now, I think just take it as a beginning. You never, I mean, knowledge is infinite. The more you know, the more you discover you don't know, which I think that's the way I've gone through my own evolution as well. Like every day you learn something new and you go from there. So just take this as your step and keep improving on yourself. And you guys, the future is bright. I'm impressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Future is bright. And I think our interns have enjoyed that bit. So let's hear Wale. Wale, you're mute.
I think I'll probably echo some of the things that Charles mentioned. The quality of the project delivery and presentation has actually evolved. Because I remember the first presentation, I think it was Charles, Biodo, and I. And then it probably sounded like we're hammering on you guys because we had a lot of questions and comments. But we've actually seen, I would say, the improvements. They're really good. You guys have done a very, very good job for all the projects. It's exciting to see. It's exciting to see what you guys are building now, and also what you can do in the future. There's no doubt the talent is there, and as you continue to work and work hard, the opportunity will also come. So I would say, great job, everyone. Keep working, keep building, keep evolving. Data science is a discipline where you just keep learning. Think about it. TensorFlow was open sourced about 4 or 5 years ago. PyTorch probably less than 3 years ago. Batch normalization, the paper was written in 2015. So a lot of the things we're doing are pretty new. BET was first released last year. GPT-3 was released a few months ago. So there's so many opportunities. There's so many things that you can do and build in the future. So just keep working, keep learning, be curious, and apply whatever you've learned. So good job, guys.
Great job, guys. I'm sure our interns are happy to hear you say that. Thank you, Wale. Thank you so much. Let's hear GD.
I think everything Charles and Wale said is absolutely correct. And I'm really impressed with all the projects I've listened to. There are 2 challenges, though, that I have for you guys. One is try to see how you can adapt some of these projects to Nigerian problem, because that's where the value is. Or wherever you are, if you're anywhere in the world, try to find a way to adapt, because it creates a challenge for you. Like, where do I get the right data from? How do I define the right business problem I'm trying to solve? So that's the main challenge I have for you. I'm really impressed with the technical part. I think you guys are, what you guys are doing now is really impressive. When I was at least at this stage, I didn't have access to any of these things that you guys have. So that's really cool. But I'll push you a little bit further and ask you to start thinking about how to adapt this problem to where you are and figure out how to figure out a business problem that you're trying to solve.
Thank you very much, GD. Try to be adaptive with what you've learned. Okay, let's hear Biojo speak.
Oh, thanks. So the first time I had the opportunity to meet with everyone on the call, and I know quite a few other people may have joined as well, I started out the speech about dream first and then act. The reason I say that is a lot of what you guys are doing today kind of falls under the context of skills. You're building skills that will be relevant to you in the job market, skills that will be relevant as an entrepreneur as well. What I want to say is overall, I've been impressed with how the evolution has been. It seems like you guys continue to grow. You guys continue to add more skills. You're taking the feedback. There are a couple of points that I want to add to everything that I've said so far, and some might be a repetition. I want to reiterate those. Blog about your project, right? Create your own blog. Put it out there on Twitter. Let people know what you do. Let people know what you're made of. Let people know how you're growing. Or you have a place to look back and see how you've grown. Blog about it. Put it on Twitter. Say, hey, today I just completed this project. I got this feedback. This is what I'm going to do in 2 weeks. Or here's what I want to be in 2 months. Do that. The other thing that I want to ask you all to do is identify your true passion. Like a lot of people do data science, but you might be, maybe you're a data and AI advocate for ethics. Maybe you're a data and AI advocate for health. Maybe you want to solve the cancer problem. Maybe you want to solve injustice problem. Find your passion, because the thing about finding a passion is you already find something you want to live and die for, and it energizes you. It makes you wake up every day. It makes you wake up and want to get off bed. So find a passion. The reason I say find your passion is once you find your passion, now imagine adding 3, 4, 5 more people that think like you, that have that same passion. Now imagine the kind of problems you guys can solve together. Because when 3 or more people, 2 or more to say the least, come together to solve one problem, that's what we call a mastermind. And a mastermind is the biggest force ever known to mankind. That's a force that created the United States of America. That's a force that built the biggest companies, because they are all working for the same purpose. So find a passion and find a mastermind. Build your own community, people that you can work together. A lot of you have brilliant ideas, and it seems that you're devoting the time. So a lot of these little things can make you become the next superstar. And as a word of advice and also encouragement, in your path to becoming successful, you face problems. You might find people say bad about you. You might find people try to pull you down. You might find people discourage you. But I want to assure you, don't stop. Keep going, and keep going, because everybody that's ever been successful has always faced problems one way or the other. I have faced a ton of problems, but I've overcome, because why? I have a passion. I have what I'm thinking about. I have what I'm aiming towards. So don't stop. That's the last word of advice that I have. But overall, I'm very impressed. And I think you guys are going to only continue to grow. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Biodun. We'll only continue to grow. That's the final from there. Let's listen to Dr. Tolu Ayongwani.
Hi, everyone. I want to say, first of all, congratulations to the interns on the work they've been able to do so far. I've been impressed, to say the least. Some of the projects I've seen presented here today were projects I've seen that are part of the curriculum, maybe for a machine learning course on AWS. So, Hamoye is doing fantastic work for you. It's a fantastic opportunity they've provided. I agree with everything the earlier speakers have said with regards to the work you're doing and what you still need to continue to do. But in particular, I want to mention again that it's very important that you should know why you want to be a data scientist. There should be a motivating reason. What problem are you trying to solve? Because without that, whatever passion or whatever dreams you may have might die before seeing the light of day. So just keep on doing what you're doing. Keep learning. Have an open mind. Be willing to learn. Be willing to learn about many different things, regardless of your educational background. I mean, well, the field of study you have, if there's an opportunity to learn something new, by all means, take it. Don't rush, just do things slow and steady at your own pace. And yeah, I'm confident that you will get there. And of course, I also realized that I think one of the also, I realized that there could be some limitations with regards to access to data back in Nigeria and Africa. It could also be that you want to be the one who wants to start gathering this data. And like Biodun said, blog about it, let people know that you're gathering that data and what you may want to use it for. You could find someone or some other people who would want to join you along that line. So just keep it up, keep on doing the good work you're doing. Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Kulu. Thank you to everybody that offered their words of advice. I'm sure our interns have seen themselves grow just in this short space, and some of them have also shared their thoughts here. Zaliat Mohammed is also a member of the Hamoye AI Lab. He's telling our interns, keep going. Countess Olufumi is saying yes. Sultan Salu is saying thank you to our inestimable judges. Olawole, good luck. He's saying thank you, judges and guests. You have really, really spoken well. And these are just some out of many, many appreciations that our interns have. However, we want to meet our panelists and proceed to the plenary session, but we still need to hear what our interns have said. It is really important because they have good stuff packaged for us to listen to this evening. So we'll listen to intern speech 2 for the next 5 minutes, and from there we'll proceed with the remaining events of the conference. Okay, while we wait to fix that, I think I saw some comments from our interns on Zoom. Yeah, so we'll come back to the comments, but meanwhile, let's listen to the video. And Yolola is saying that the advice that they've received this evening will go a long way to helping them model. So we're still getting more. If I saying thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our panelists for the evening as we prepare to go into, the plenary session this evening. We have met some of them. Yes, but then we still need to do the honors. On the list of the panelists, we have Wale Akifadere, who we've met during the
No noise, please. No noise.
whom we've met during the stage G of the open source project, which we just concluded. We've also met Charles Adetiloye. Now we have another inestimable panelist, Jide Olarewaju. Jide is a data scientist at Facebook, and I'd like to describe him as someone who is an experienced data scientist with a demonstrated history of working across multiple domains. I cannot even begin to mention all of them. He has a strong background in design of experiment A/B testing. He has a strong background also in natural language processing, data analytics, graph analytics, machine learning algorithms, and deep learning. Jide is also a PyData stack, deep learning frameworks, Apache Spark, and SQL guru with a very good understanding of data engineering pipelines. Matillion, Airflow, Snowflow, AWS, you can continue to name. So Jide, it's a privilege to have you here as a member of the panel.
Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, also we have Dr. Tolu Ayombayi. Dr. Tolu is a physician, he's an economist, and he has offered over 15 years of recognized success in clinical practice and strategic planning. He got his MBBS degree from the prestigious University of Ibadan. He has an MA in economics and a PhD business administration. Wow. Now, Dr. Tolu has worked as a medical officer at the National Health Service and is also a senior licensed at the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, where he analyzed, models, and interprets internal and external data. That's not all. Dr. Tolu has also applied methodologies such as reliability analysis, stochastic modeling, Monte Carlo simulation, and many others I cannot even begin to mention for the sake of time. And it's a privilege to have you here with us, Dr. Tolu.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, the fund keeps building. We have Biodu and Wojobi. Well, Biodu is not new to our interns, but to be shocking to know that Biodu is a creative technology architect, is a cloud security leader, and is an accomplished scholar. He's an academic researcher, he's a business strategist, he's a coach. If you remember Dream First, the Dream First webinar he had with us. Biodu is also a public speaker, and Biodu is an amiable mentor. I'm sure our interns can testify to that. Biodu's story is actually a proof of one who can dream and can achieve. He has ultimately risen from so many limitations in life. He works as a customer engineer at Google and is an adjunct professor of cybersecurity at the University of Dallas. So thank you, Biodu, for joining us.
Thank you. Good to be here again.
Oh, Ifeanyi Benny is giving a thumbs up and a salute to the fact that I mentioned Facebook and Google. Yeah, I think it's actually motivating for them to hear that our panelists are coming from there. So we have curated questions from our interns and from other participants, and now we've been able to pull these questions together in the plenary session. And to lead this plenary session this evening will be members of the Hamoye team, Cordelia Ilori and Abigail Olajire. So the next voices you'll be hearing will be that of Abigail and Cordelia leading the plenary session.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I trust that we have been having a very wonderful time here. And let's go straight to the plenary session without wasting much of our time. So we've introduced our guest already. So straight, I would call whoever is going to be answering, I will just call the name and then the question. So the first question I have is for Charles. And the question is, what are the basic things to consider and how do I begin a career in data science? So Charles, we're asking, what are the basic things to consider and how do I begin a career in data science?
That's a very good question. Number one thing you want to do, if you want to do anything in life, you need to believe in yourself. I think that's the number one key to success in everything and anything you find yourself doing. So, because I think someone mentioned it earlier, if you're trying to do anything, people will tell you, maybe you're not good enough, you can't do this, you don't have the right background, you don't have the right pedigree. So that self-confidence is very important. And I find it useful a lot of times where I find myself in situations where maybe I'm the only person like me that can do it out there, or I'm the only person like me that is in that context. So you need to believe in yourself. I think that's very helpful. Then the next thing is you need to work hard at it. It's a lot of time, a lot of all these things involves learning new things. A lot of the things we're doing right now, the tools, the technologies and everything didn't exist 5 years ago. So that means if someone was working in this space 5 years ago and you're just starting, if you put in a lot of effort, you might be as good as a person that started 5 years ago. So that means the competition is getting redefined, the space is getting redefined. You just need to want to learn and understand new things and grab as much as possible very fast. And
okay.
What?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and the most important part of it is for you to just network with people, get to interact with people in this space, kind of like what we're doing at Hamoye out here. Plugging yourself to a group of people going where you're going or where you intend to go. And I think that will help you get there a lot more faster. You can decide to learn these things by yourself and be in silo. But I think you get a lot more done when you're collaborating with people, you're bringing people together and you guys are solving a common problem together. So I think it's very important. And some people try to say oh, I didn't have an engineering background or I don't have STEM and stuff like that. A lot of all those things, I think it's good to have, but I think you can always learn and understand all these things. And I used to tell a lot of my friends that are trying to get into this space my first degree is in English or my first degree is in history or philosophy. The true fact of it is one of the smartest people I've worked with in this space. They probably have a degree in maybe I think physiology or something that is out of context, or people who like music, first degree music, or even people who are high school dropouts. So it's a matter of your effort and the time you want to put into it. And if you put in a lot of time to redefine yourself, improve yourself and things like that, and you're plugged into the right with the right set of people, I think you're going to succeed. So I think that would be my suggestion to get going.
Okay, thank you very much, Charles. And now speaking about STEM degree requirement, I want to ask Biodun. A lot of data-related jobs have STEM degree requirement, as Charles has said. So now tell us about your experience. How were you able to overcome these obstacles?
Right, good question. How was I able to overcome the obstacles of having a STEM degree? I think it all comes down to every individual would have a passion. If you find your passion, the next thing you want to do is build your brand. You don't have to be in school for computer science. You don't have to be in school you don't have to be in school for data science either. I'll give you an example. A lot of people do this in multiple ways. So I'll share a personal story of my sister. My sister went to school for banking and finance at at a university in Nigeria. And I thought to myself that, hey, you want to go into data science because everybody knows data and AI is where the next evolution of talent and even money will come from. As they say, data is gold. And I said, one of the things you could start doing is you could start branding yourself as a data and AI specialist by, one, take courses, join programs like the ones Hamoye is doing currently, or go do a master's in data science. People are able to change their trajectory and rebrand themselves by even doing a master's degree or joining a community like this, or posting work out there that show that you're having a passion for something else other than what you're already known for. People do political science, or people do non-science degrees and are able to rebrand themselves by the work they're putting out there to the world, or the things that you're spending your time doing. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. Thank you very much, Biodun. And now quickly, I hope Wale is here. So Wale, this is for you as a data engineering specialist. How do I start a career in Nigeria, seeing that most of the jobs available are data analyst roles? So let me ask the question again.
Are you sure that question is for me?
All right.
Because I'm not
yes.
a data engineering specialist.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so the question is around, like, if you're a data scientist, are you relevant to Nigeria? And the truth of the matter is you're relevant elsewhere. Just don't think about this as where you're located. There's shortage of talents, and people will go find talent wherever they can find it. If you're a data engineer and you're living in Mass, and I want to solve a problem, I will want to hire you right away and provide an internet connection to your Mass. So as long as you're good and you know what you're doing, there's a lot of opportunities. And stay plugged into communities like this. If you're a data engineer and you know what you're doing, you're plugged into stuff like this, there will always be job posting on Hamoye. Sometimes we look for data engineers like help us with some of our workloads. So I don't think your location should matter. It doesn't matter. It's even an advantage because you have the time, you have a good head start. Before we wake up here, it's already morning time in Africa and wherever you are and things like that. So being in Nigeria, I think it's a plus for you because you get to learn a lot. You have that advantage, like learn and pull in a lot of information. It's like very few people like you who are data engineers right now in Nigeria. So it creates a lot of opportunity locally as well as internationally. All these things we're talking about, there's still a very extreme shortage of skill sets. So if you develop yourself and you're good enough, I think there's a lot of opportunities for you. And I've been working with some of you guys day to day, and it's been very impressive. And I can say that the talent that we're getting and the quality of work that we do together is as good as the talent that you find anywhere in the world, and even at Google, Facebook, or Amazon, if I can say that. So knowledge is, one thing I believe is like, knowledge is all universally distributed. There's smart people all over the world, but the opportunities are not universally distributed. But if you improve yourself and you keep doing what you're doing, your talent will make you stand out. So I'll say just keep doing it. And one day there's going to be a break. But I think there's a lot of things to get going right now and a lot to keep you busy if you're in this space.
Very much for that, Charles. Apologies, Wale, for the error, but I have a question for you now. So Wale, this is your question. How is data science useful in product development?
How is data science useful for product development?
Yes.
So some of the biggest products that we have, for example, just think of social media product, from Instagram to Twitter to Facebook to whatever that we use every day. The data science is actually part of the ecosystem. So for a lot of people, maybe for their products, if you want to drive engagement, if you want, let's say, for example, you want to reduce churn, almost every major product right now they have data science embedded somewhere in the process. So it helps. For you to have to make data-driven decision. So, for example, I can give you an example. Yesterday, the engineering team at Twitter, they mentioned something about, so if someone tweets, and you want to, normally you can retweet, but also you can quote tweets, right? So what they did was they removed the retweets, and then they left only quote tweets, which means that if you quote the tweets, you can also retweet from that because they want to improve engagement. So they did some sort of A/B testing. So some people are saying the quote tweet, and some people are not seeing the quote tweet. And they actually noticed that removing retweet and replacing it with quote tweet actually increases engagements by a significant amount of percentage. I can't remember what it was, but it means that more people are most likely to quote the tweet, which means to respond to someone than to just retweet. So, and that was an experiment. We did a science experiment where they had to form an hypothesis around it. So it is extremely important. I think every company, at AWS, some of the largest companies that we work with, they have data science embedded in their product development. So it is important.
Thank you very much, Wale, for that. Now, I have a question for Dr. Tolu. Charles mentioned something about being confident and most very important traits that we must have as data scientists. But are there challenges that I'm going to expect, or that I should expect as I get into the field? What are the challenges? What are these challenges? So Dr. Tolu, please explain to us what these challenges are and how we can overcome them.
All right, thank you for that question. Yeah, so I would say, I'll tell you from my experience. So I'll break the challenges into two different types. There's the work-related one, and then there's a personal one. Of course, you'll be working in a team, and there's something called team dynamics. There will be people in your team that you may not be able to get on with, but you should look for a way to sort out your interpersonal differences. And if you contribute to the work of your team, eventually you may be able to work things out, or there should be some laid down mechanism for sorting out your differences. Work related, one of the things that could happen is that, so for instance, you've gone through your internship, you've come across you've gone through a particular type of project, you've chosen the kind of project you want to work on. You may not have worked on another type of project, or another kind, solving a different kind of problem. In the workplace, you will come across different kinds of projects or different kinds of problems requiring a solution. And so I would say the benefit of the internship to you is that it's exposed you to different algorithms, different kinds of problems that may require a solution. And they've told you this, when you should apply machine learning, you should apply machine learning to solve a problem, or you could just use a rule-based algorithm to solve a problem. So one challenge is that you're seeing a different set of problem from the one you've seen in your internship. Now in the workplace, the real thing is for you to be able to bring the knowledge you've garnered during your internship and be able to apply it to, within a different setting, within the domain of the business or organization you work in. Now, another thing is that also, depending on the nature of the environment you work in, some kinds of problems may not show up at all. And this has, you run the risk of forgetting some of the things you've learned in the past, or you may even, if you're not the type that read about things other than what your current problem, your immediate problem is. When I say problem, I don't mean problem in the sense of, I mean problem in the sense of business problem. If you're not seeing, you're seeing only, you don't read or try to get knowledge about other kinds of problems that are being solved in a wider area than the one you work in, then you run the risk of losing some of the skills or not being up to date with some of the skills that could be applied. And then you may be unlucky that those things you've forgotten about or you're not updating your skills and knowledge on will come up. And then, you're not able to respond as fast as you ought to. So one way, or I would say a way to overcome this kind of challenge is that you continue to update your knowledge and skills. You continue to network with people. Attach yourself to the kind of spaces where discussions go on. Occasionally you go there, you read up about what's going on. And that should help you. So in summary, continue to learn, having open mind to learning and learning about different things. Regularly update your skill. Yeah. And also teach people, because you can't teach what you don't know. So teach others, might help to bring them up.
Thank you very much. So update your skills and keep networking. I have one question for Jide before we end this session. So Jide, what are some of the mistakes junior data scientists make while during an interview session? So quickly, can you help us with that?
Wow, that's a good question. Before I answer that, I would like to say there's a common trend with everything everybody has said so far. There's importance to have the right skill set. It's important to have the right branding. And when I say branding, I mean, if somebody mentions your name and you're not there, what comes to their mind? We do a very good job of skill set. That's why all of you are here. But one of the problems I've seen in my own life and the people that I have in my network is that we don't brand ourselves well. We wait for our word of mouth to do the work for us. But instead of that, listen, exactly like what Biodun said, of all of you that have done a project, write something about it. It could be on LinkedIn, it could be on any GitHub. And what that does, it gives you a brand. So even you're not in the, before you come to the interview, I can at least Google you, go on your LinkedIn profile and see who you are. Because everybody's trying to become data scientists, but this little thing sets you apart. The third thing is networking. And the importance of networking is also, it allows you to be able to talk to the right people, allows you to have people in your network that can challenge you. So some of the projects that you guys are working on, guys can take it up and say you want to form a company or you want to do it as a side also. Now, all of that ties to interview because interview at best is still subjective. You come to an interview, you sit down across from me, there are some things that you say that I can relate to. There are some things that you say that I can relate to. And that kind of adds up. The companies try to kind of remove subjectiveness from their interview process, but it's still subjective. So what you want to do is not just your word, because if you have a bad day on your interview day and all you are depending on is your word of mouth, then you're screwed. But if you have a platform where people can see the body of work you've done, at least then I can say maybe it's just a bad day, but because I've seen what he's done, I've seen his repo, I'll give him another chance. So that's one thing I want you guys to get out of here. Skill set is important, but you have to brand yourself and you also have to network. All these three things helps with interview. And skills, I know we focus on skill set, and I'm talking from personal experience, especially in data science, because data science is always evolving. And if you are already one skills, if you already one technology today, before in 6 months, another one comes out. So the way to kind of show how good you are is if you can write about the problems you've solved with data science and let people that are going to interview you see those things without you even telling them. And then also networking, because that also helps with even jobs. If you network with me and I have a job, like Charles owns a company, just as an opening, he can come back to you guys. And that's what you guys are doing with Hamoye. But beyond this internship, keep in touch with each other, keep in touch with your mentors, keep in touch with other people in the world. And practical ways I do that, because I'm an introvert. So what I do is, if I buy a book or I see somebody post something online that I really like, I send them a comment like, oh, I just read your post, it's very interesting, it applies to my domain. And in future, when I see them, like, oh, I'm the guy that wrote to, and this happened to me. I once bought a book and I wrote the person that, oh, I really like your book. And then I went to a conference and I saw the person, like, can you sign this book for me? Because I was the one that mailed you a while back. He didn't remember me, of course, but I did. And so that's the way you kind of have practical ways of networking. And I think you guys should at least put a lot of effort on your networking and branding. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jide, for that.
Yeah, do you mind?
Yeah. Okay, Wale,
Yeah,
you want to say something?
I just wanted to
Okay.
add. I'm sorry. I just wanted to add something
Okay.
to what Jide said about your brand. So this is an example. In my former company, I was actually putting together a team, and we were hiring for a few roles, data scientists, and there was an interviewer, a lady that we were interviewing, and she was describing her project, which was a little bit boring to all of us. And then immediately I saw that she had a GitHub on her resume, and my computer is in front of me, and I opened her GitHub, and one of the projects she already worked on was actually a problem we were currently struggling on. So we're currently working on that project, and she already did something similar. And then I asked her about it, and that was how she went on explaining the project, and eventually she actually got an offer. But if there was no GitHub, if there was no branding, if there was nothing else for us to see, I mean, it should have been a different story. So it's always important to brand yourself, build a website for yourself, write blogs on Medium, clean up your GitHub, put your code, your project, and things like that on your GitHub. It really helps, yeah. And for me personally, I would say there was a blog post I wrote a few years ago, and that was actually how I met Richard, and that was how I met Charles. I remember the message you sent to me a few years ago. So yeah, it is the branding is really important.
Thank you very much, Wale. Thank you very much, Jide, Charles, Biodun, Tolu. We are so grateful for that. Even though there are lots of questions that have been coming, and even the ones we have already, but I'm afraid we have to end it now so we can go ahead with the program. So there are 3 things. If you didn't get anything, there are 3 things you should go home with. You must rebrand, continue to brand yourself, and continue rebranding. And then secondly, you have to update your skills. And lastly, keep networking. So over to you, the host.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abigail. Thank you to all our panelists. I think this has been a wonderful event. Like Abigail rightly said, for want of time, we just have to hold it there. But you can keep your questions coming. We'll ensure that we make a compendium of the questions and the best answers that fits there. And then we'll reach out to you. And like Jody mentioned, write blog posts about all of this. And then we'll see, you get to meet your answers at that point as well. So now, we want to still listen to our interns, so Wale will help us out now, and then we'll go.
My name is Sharon Ibeji. I joined Hamoye Internship in July, and since then, it's one of the experiences that has boosted my career growth in data science. I would advise anyone who wants to join the externship next year that they should be open-minded, they should be eager to learn. These were things that helped me during internship. Aside that, I also got some materials online that helped me out. I made friends with people in the internship who were better than me. During the open source project as well, I was opportune to take up the leadership role as the project lead, as the project analyst, and then as the project assistant. These were things that helped my leadership skill. I coordinated a team and were able to meet up the deadline. So I'm so grateful to Hamoye for this opportunity to be part of the internship. I'm grateful to everyone who helped me during the internship. I'm also grateful to friends who I made, people from data science, data engineering, data storytelling. It was quite a wonderful experience, and I would love anyone who is interested to go ahead and join the experience. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Gordon Ekaini, and I'm a data scientist at Hamoye AI Lab. Working with the team at Hamoye has been fun and exciting. I've learned a lot, especially in the machine learning engineering and machine learning operations space. I work a lot with Kubeflow and Kubernetes, and I've loved every bit of it. I've had no issues switching over from my university degree into becoming a data scientist. In fact, I found it very easy as I studied computer science. I consider data science specialization other computer science. At Hamoye, I work with teams at different time zones. This was difficult at first to handle, but as time went by, I was able to adjust, and I found myself doing very well at all. For everyone who's looking into getting an opportunity like this, I would suggest you study hard, study smart, and make sure you are well prepared. So once the opportunity comes, you'll be able to grab it.
While I consider it a privilege, I wouldn't say there's any secret to being outstanding. For me, it's the mindset and the mentality. I came into the internship program with a simple goal to finish everything I started and to not just finish, but finish well. During the internship program, we were introduced to quite a number of data scientists, and one of them whom I would love to meet in person is DJ Patil. He said something that really struck a chord in my heart and inspired me. He said that we should go to bed every night knowing that we delivered something. On some days, it may be small, and on some other days, it might be big, but we should always strive to create something new. And that really struck a chord in my heart because I'm someone who's obsessed with the idea of scaling and continuously developing an idea. Now, during the internship program also, there were times where I felt like giving up. And I think what really kept me going was the goal I set for myself at the starting of the internship program, to always finish whatever it was I started. Now, my advice to the next cohort, I love to say that while nothing good comes easy, with the right amount of effort and hard work, nothing is also impossible. So if you want to get it done, all you have to do is start and keep at it. Thank you.
Wow. Staying motivated, reading and researching constantly, helping others with their data science related problems has worked for me. Also leveraging on the inputs and the contributions of wonderful interns and really boosted my growth in the data science field. So, well, I can't really say if I've been influenced by a particular data scientist, but what I can say is that I've been inspired by so many women data scientists who are taking significant positions, taking up significant positions in big companies and are leaders in the data science community. These are the set of people that I would so much love to meet. 3. During the stage of the Hamoye Data Science Internship, Hamoye encouraged the writing of blog posts for our open source projects. So being able to understand and write data science articles about data science concepts has been so fulfilling because I'm now able to make my little contribution to the data science community, which is something I've always wanted to do, and it's actually great for a start. 4. Ever since I was little, I've always been interested in making significant contributions in the field of machine learning, artificial intelligence, robotics. And this internship at Hamoye has made me, has equipped me with skills, which has made me realize that these dreams are very much achievable and they are not as difficult as I initially thought about them. This past 6 months has been very enlightening and has made me have a firm and solid foundation in data science. I look forward to getting more skills, to improving, to becoming much more better in data science and making sure I take this career to another level.
Thank you very much, Wale. Before we take the next one, I just want to share these comments that Biodun and Tolu have given as answers to Gura's question. So while we'll do that, we'll prepare to play the third intent speech. So Gura have asked, this is just for everybody to see, especially those that are on YouTube. So Gura has asked, do you need a master's or PhD degree to become a data professional? So Biodun replied that no, you do not need a master's or PhD degree to become a data professional. Once you hit certain milestones and you want to up-level yourself, a master or PhD can be valuable in amplifying your brand. Well, I hope that is lesson enough for everybody. Now, Tolu has graciously added that if you don't have a data science role already and you can afford a master's degree, it could help you with having some structure to your studies or skill development, while also introducing you to many of the skills you would employ as a practitioner. A master's degree could also be a way to change careers internships, externships like the one Hamoye is providing, also empowers you with the right knowledge and the skill you could gain from enrolling in an academic program. So thank you very much, Biodu. Thank you, Dr. Tolu, for this insightful ones. Please still keep your questions coming. The goal is to help us start a career in data science. So listen to our intern speak again, the third intern speech.
To be honest, I would say it has been God's blessings and my passion for data engineering. Despite starting this internship with little or no knowledge about data engineering and MLOps, my love for the field and the interest sparked by Hamoye has led me to study as much material as I can over this short period of time to be able to stay on top as one of the best in my track. There are many of such instances, but notable of all was during the stage when we had to deploy a running pipeline. Everything I had learned, I had to put into practice. And what they don't tell you in books and in videos is that real-world application requires more than just what you read. You have to be more adaptive because what you read today can actually become irrelevant tomorrow. So after failing to deploy a pipeline for several days, I just felt like I was wasting my time and that data engineering wasn't really for me. Just then we had one of these regular Saturday sections that they do, and I watched her deploy a running pipeline live. So I knew it could be done. I went back to reading. I joined Kubeflow and Kubernetes Slack channel. I also enrolled in QuickLab, and finally my pipeline ran. You can imagine the kind of joy I felt. That joy alone kept my spirit high all throughout the course of the internship. I would say open source projects. It offered me the opportunity to collaborate with other interns, to learn from them, and to also build, a worthwhile application. For me, it's still about learning. I just completed a machine learning course with Stanford University in Coursera, and I'm looking to apply my knowledge and what I have gained from Hamoye in a data-driven working environment, while I continue to learn as much as I can to become an ML expert.
It has been in the way I treated this internship right from the beginning. I decided this internship is going to be my full-time job. Give it my best and see that if it's like the full-time job, then my employer has to receive the best. And with that in mind, I think I had to achieve what I achieved. Yeah. Sundar Pichai is one of the guys that inspire me. When you look at his background coming from a humble family from India, he looks like that African child who has been struggling for years, then he makes it to the table. He becomes one of the best guys in AI, then he goes on to lead one of the big tech companies. And with that, he's someone that you would love to meet. My most fulfilling moment was that time when I was called to share my story with the rest of the interns. I feel like God had chosen me from the many to give my story so that people can learn from me, get inspired, and also take it to the next level to become better than me.
Hi. So working with Hamoye Labs team has been great. It's been amazing because I've been working with really smart, supportive, and intelligent people. And the fact that it's 100% remote, so we have like very flexible hours. And yeah, there were times where I had to work, and I still have to work with people in different time zone. And one of the major challenges was that there was no immediate feedback. So if I need anything from, let's say I need a feedback from somebody in the UK, I have to wait till like it's 3 p.m. WAT. So that was like the major challenge. And the solution we came up with was to work on a different task while the person is still asleep or is not online yet. And then once the person gets back, you can like switch to the other task and work on it. And yeah, the advice I'll give to anybody that wants to be part of the AI Labs team is to learn how to work with a team. So you're not going to work alone. So you have to start learning how to tolerate people, how to work with people, well, how to ask questions. So because there are times when you have to like reach out to people. So learn how to like just cultivate that culture of teamwork. And yes, please, but if you're going to be part of the next externship, please learn how to ask questions. Learn how to like research. So because we are trying to like make the courses comprehensive enough, we don't want it to be too bulky. So there are times where you're not going to understand something. So it would be best if you would make research on your own. So you're not just going to like be 100%. You're not going to be working with the course 100%. You can also learn more. So yeah, that's the advice I'll give to anybody that's part of our next externship. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to every intern, that have turned out and have asked questions and that have shared their story, and especially to interns that have represented their groups this evening in the open source presentation. I want to thank our judges as well, but that will be on a really special note. But before we go on to say thank you to our delectable judges and panelists, let's listen to them give their last words to our interns. Let me officially announce that the Hamoye internship that has lasted 6 months has actually come to a close officially. So I think our interns would also take what they've learned from here and put it out into the market, into the industry. So what last words would you give to them as they take the first big step into the data science career? I think I just start with Dr. Tolu Ayongbayi.
Right. So once again, congratulations to all of you on completing or getting to this, achieving this milestone along your data science career. I will encourage you to continue to update your skills. Start looking around in the job market for opportunities. Back in the days, when I was considering what to do after grad school, I think one of the things I saw about looking for work to establish yourself in your career is for you're in a quantitative field now. There are doing some work pro bono is an opportunity for you to get your hands on some data. I think if I remember clearly now, I think there's some, maybe try UN volunteers. There could be some project they have there that's requiring some quantitative analysis, or a project that you could apply your data science skills to. Do it. It may be free of charge. Do it. It's an opportunity to have that project in your portfolio of work. And if you find something related to, again, because you may not want to disclose their data, you could find a similar problem, especially in the environment you live in, and try to solve a similar problem, blog about it. For instance, I've been looking for a project that maybe predicts flight delay in flights in Nigeria. I haven't come across one. I have thought in the past about, if I've seen a word cloud of someone doing some analyzing the text of the president's speech or something, but it's something I haven't come across. Someone can work on these things and post the information around, and let's see what we can do from there. But by all means, don't be discouraged. Getting the first job might not come as soon as you wish. Even I don't wish for that. Wish you could get something as soon as possible, but don't be discouraged. Keep on working, keep on looking, and I'm confident that something good will happen. And like Charles mentioned earlier on, that the fact that you have the skills, if you look, you can try to look for jobs even outside Nigeria, in any country that where you find a job that matches the kind of thing you would like to do. Apply if you have the skill. Fine. I've had friends who have applied to jobs in the United States, not data science precisely, but They've applied to jobs in the United States and England, and they've been interviewed right there in Lagos, and yeah, they found themselves here. So it's not impossible. You can also do it. I think the only limit to what you can do is yourself. So I think, just make the right contacts, do the right things, apply some of the things you've heard about today, and someday soon, something good will happen. Congrats and all the best.
Thank you, Dr. Tolu. Start looking around for openings and apply some of the things that you've learned here today. Quite insightful. Let's listen to Jide.
Yeah, congratulations, everyone. So I'm going to echo what Tolu just said, and I think everything that we've been saying, and I'm talking from personal experience. For someone that moved from chemistry to data science, one of the main mistakes I made was that I was trying to learn everything by just reading. It doesn't work for data science. And the reason is because the target keeps moving. The easiest way to at least get to where you're going is to keep working on projects that you find really interesting and start applying data science to that. And one way to do that is, again, look around you, figure out what can you apply data science to. If you don't have the data, ask yourself, where do I get the data from? Can I partner with people to get the data? Can I define, because once you have data, first define the business problem you're trying to solve, figure out what data you need. That gets you almost 70% of the way. Then you can say, okay, what algorithm do I apply to solve this problem? And then maybe figure out how to monetize it. All of that, even if you do that, again, make sure you blog about it. Make sure you write a post about it. Because the best work you do that lives on your laptop is not good enough. People need to see what you're doing. And hopefully as you're doing that, you're also using that to network. And again, network doesn't have to be, you go to everybody and talk to them. It can be very subtle. Go on blogs, figure out where people are talking about latest technology, and ask them, oh, how do I apply to where I live? Or these are the challenges, and blog about it, say, comment about it. And at least you're leaving a name, you're leaving like some kind of impression on these people. So when you reach out to them for something about, oh, what do you think about this thing I'm thinking of? They can understand where you're coming from. So again, congratulations, but please don't stop by just reading and reading. Try to apply your skills to tangible problem in your neighborhood, on the location where you find yourself. And while you're doing that, also network. In terms of job, the best advice I can give you for job interview is data science is so broad. So try to figure out what area of data science that you really like and focus on that, and at least try to be very good at that area, because the data science is so broad, and attempt to try to be very good at all of them is probably going to be just too much for you to do. So figure out what area you like, and then try to own on that and develop your skill set on that, and then use that to while you're applying for jobs in that area. All the best and I'm very, very available. If you can connect to me on LinkedIn. I think that's the only social media I have, even though I work at Facebook. But I think I have Facebook too, so you can probably find me on. I have Facebook, so you can find me there. But you can reach out to me online, and if you have any question, I'll be more than happy to answer.
I just checked. You're not on Facebook. I just checked you.
I am. It's eating, but I'm there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jide. One of the things that Jide mentioned is to network. I think that's also very insightful. So let's listen to Wale next.
Okay, yeah. Mine will probably be a little bit short, because I think the other two people they said a lot of really important things. So I think one thing I would say is that communication is very important. Technical communication. One thing. So in data science, you can learn all the skills and know all the skills and do all the nice projects. If you don't have the right communication skills to explain the concepts, maybe at a high level to maybe VPs and directors, and at a low level to your peers, then sometimes that's always a problem. So always improve your communication skills. If you've worked on project, you're going to have interviews where they'll ask you about it. Be able to, articulate what you've done. In some cases also, if you're networking, maybe you meet someone and they wanted 30 seconds or 1 minute elevator pitch from you, you should be able to articulate whatever you've done concisely. So communication is extremely important, and just networking. Sometimes landing the first job could be a little bit difficult, but networking would help. Connect to all the judges and the panelists on LinkedIn. If you have questions, you can send my way. I'm actually looking forward to seeing the blogs that you guys are going to write. So I check LinkedIn a lot, so hopefully you guys will post it there. If you probably need referrals for jobs or something, you can also reach out. So you guys should just network, continue to work on technical communications, and you're good to go. So congrats, guys.
I can already see the smiles on the faces of our interns after that wonderful one you gave that there. Thank you so much, Wally. Okay, let's take Biodun.
Congratulations, everyone. Super excited to be part of your journey, and I look forward to all of the great things that you'll be doing. Coincidentally, someone within the chat had reached out to me. One of the interns had reached out to me and said, "Hey, what is next? And how do I connect with what's next?" I'll share what I've answered, and I'll also kind of add some additional thoughts. So what is next? I like to plan. I like to set goals. Sometimes it doesn't work out the way you plan. Sometimes it works out better. What I would say you should do is think of where do you want to be in just 2 years, and answer this question. Are you able to get there with what you're doing today? So where do you see yourself in the next 2 years? And what are your hindrances? Maybe your hindrances could be internet, or your hindrances could be power, or your hindrances could be funds. Ask yourself what those hindrances are and find ways to solve it. And then based on what you see or what you've defined or that question that you've answered, I cannot answer all of those questions for you. Do more practice. Find out, is my environment sufficient enough to take me to where I want to be? If it's not, then obviously you have to make some changes and work towards it. Everything you've learned, make a mental note to always practice. A book I read a couple years ago goes by the book is titled Outliers, and it talks about the 10,000 hour rule. The people who are like super smart at what they do, they invest time in practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing. Your journey hasn't ended, it just began. So you need to keep practicing. And the more practice that you give, the more time you put to practicing, the better you become. That's just the way things work. When I first started touching computers, I couldn't even go to bed. I always stayed up. And what that meant was there were some cords that were connecting in my head. There were some wires that were connecting. There were some thoughts that I was having that it only happened because I practiced. One, decide what path you want to go and then keep practicing. And the more you practice, you're building that brand for yourself. You're beginning to put your thoughts out there. And then the next thing, find like-minded people. Even till this date, when I have ideas at work, at Google, I meet with new people every day, and I am so amazed by how my ideas can be turned into 17 or thousands of different ways by every new person that I talk to. Now, imagine you talking to people that are like-minded, who are thinking like you. They will say, "Oh, have you tried this?" Chances are you haven't thought about it yet. So talking to like-minded people helps you catalyze your thoughts and help you take your ideas into something tangible. If there's any way I could help, please reach out. I'm available on LinkedIn. And just like Wally has made the offer, I'm also available to make referrals, because I think you guys are a fantastic bunch, and you have everything that it takes to work at all of these companies that we are all fortunate to work with today. And I also want to put a plug for one of those videos that there was a gentleman that talked about Sundar Pichai, and he says that he's one of his inspirations and mentor. I was really moved by that. And honestly, I think everybody on this call has the ability to be another Sundar. Your only limitation is yourself. It is possible. We can dream. Everything you dream, you can achieve. You just have to believe. Don't let anybody pull you down. Believe it. Even if it looks like a pipe dream, continue working hard and you get there. But yeah, I'm excited to be here, and I look forward to seeing how you all progress and succeed.
Thank you so much, Giorgio. Everybody on this call has a chance to be another Sundar. So thank you very much. I think that's quite inspiring. So we'll hear from Charles now.
Yeah, I think everybody basically said it all. So maybe I can just chime in one or two things, but I don't think I can do more than everyone has done already. So, but first of all, congratulations to you guys. The fact that you're still there and you're hanging out on this call and you're listening to us and it's not boring to you. I remember when we first got started like a few months ago, and everybody was really excited. The chat was buzzing and everything. I'll pop in and I'll see all the energy. And the fact that things didn't go down, it's instead everything is going up. I think it says a lot about you and your passion to be a success in this space. And I think that's all you need to get going, because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is what I do every day. Some days you're going to be superheroes, and some days you're zeros. No matter how hard you try, it's a roller coaster. So the fact that you can remain persistent and persevere all through days and just keep learning. And some days you just have a mental brain block. Whatever you try to do is not working. And whatever you're doing, you just run into like a big bug that stays there forever. And you sleep over and you wake up the second day and things just work out like, oh, wow. So, sometimes I ask myself, why didn't I just go to sleep and wake up like 5 minutes after? Maybe I will have solved the problem. So you're going to see a lot of that, and it's a normal thing, and that's a sign of progress. So if I give someone a task to solve, if I'm solving a task and you're not running into problems, that means you're not making progress. For you to succeed in life, you need to keep running into problems, because if you're not running into problems, that means you're not doing anything. And over the course of this program and you guys trying to pull together as a team, you guys are like in different locations, but you still pull together. Sometimes the internet is not there. Sometimes your teammate is not available, and you coordinated and you pull through it. It shows like you've made a progress, and that's all you need to like keep going. That's the right kind of mindset and attitude. And don't let anybody pull you down. Just keep at it, keep going. And eventually you get to a place where people will appreciate what you're doing. The other thing you want to keep doing as you're going on with this is like you just try to be nice to people, help people solve problems, because I think that's the most important thing. Because most of the time people think it's all about intellect and outsmart you and things like that. But most of the time in life, what gets you ahead, or what takes you ahead and helps you in most places is like how well you're willing to put yourself out there to help other people solve their problems. Because if you have this knowledge yourself and you're not using it to solve problems for others, then it's not really useful. I think it's kind of like a poverty of ambition if you're just keeping it all to yourself. So the whole idea of this program is to bring everybody together. Sometimes you know something I need to learn from you, and sometimes you want something from me and I'm available for you. So it's a community where you can pour in, learn from people, and people learn from you and things like that. So don't just be like, oh, I want to learn everything, then I'll get a job, and after getting the job, I get paid X dollars and I'm gonna be okay. It's not like that. So once you've learned a lot, share back to the community. Tell people about this around you, and whoever you think needs like, oh, they want to get into this space, just share the knowledge with them. The knowledge is just infinite. That it's not just, you alone cannot solve all these problems we're trying to solve. If you're solving the problem alone, then you're not solving big problems. You're just solving a very minute problem. So that's where collaboration comes into play and things like that. So as you grow in your career, people say it in different ways, like brand yourself, or blog about what you're doing and things like that. When you're blogging, you basically put the knowledge out there. People will read it and they'll gain inspiration, and it becomes a big graph that is all connected and things like that. I remember people that have read their blogs and I run into them at conference and like, hey, I saw your blogs and everything, and you get excited. And people go on like, oh, Charles, I've not seen you in a long time. I saw you on YouTube, blah, 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 and everything like that. So that's how all these things connect. And a lot of this is not like, it's not going to be instantaneous, the reward of all the things you're doing right now. It's not like, oh, you get done, and after this program, you land the next big job and stuff like that. It's basically a cumulative effort, and over time, you start seeing the results and stuff like that. And just to cap it all, this should not be the end for you guys. Just keep improving yourself. I think just see this as the beginning. So just keep improving yourself. Let's stay connected. I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on Facebook. So if you want to connect with me, just connect with me on any of those mediums. And if you have any questions, reach out. If I see anything interesting that you guys are doing, I'll make sure I connect to you and we can keep collaborating. But this should not be the end. Let's just keep it going and let's go change the world.
I have a question for Charles. I'm not trying to put him on the spot, but this code, Tolu, Biodun, and Wale can also answer. Charles, with regards to entrepreneurship, what advice do you have? How do you take data science idea and turn it into like a business like you've done?
Yeah. So basically, what I do is like, I've been doing this for a while. I got tired of like working full-time job, and I just want to keep doing something and learning. So in terms of like being an entrepreneur, you want to solve problems for others, and that's basically what we do. Basically, you solve this problem and people pay you to solve the problem. So if you're confident about what you're doing, sometimes it's things that I don't really know the solution myself, but I spend a lot of nights and with my team, we come together, we brainstorm, and we basically come to a solution. So it's basically a transition between R&D. We do a little bit of R&D, trying to understand the problems the customer wants, and we try to see how you can solve it technically. We'll lay out the solution, we'll test it, we'll go through multiple iterations, and we try to turn it into product. The thing about data science right now is like, a lot of it is an experiment. That's why during these presentations, if you notice, I've been focusing a lot more on Kubeflow, which is like a lot of people want to build all these Jupyter Notebook experiments, but how do you translate it into something that becomes part of a product and it becomes a real life system that basically affects people's life? That's what you guys do at Facebook, Amazon, Google. So if you're building all these things, how can you turn it into something that you can productionalize and operationalize? So instead of having all these things living in your Jupyter Notebook, in your collab editor, how can you make it into a pipeline? Like someone was talking about, like basically identifying all these cars and all these things and all the metrics going into that. A lot of all those things you can use in InsurTech and insurance to predict if a car is, should be totaled or not, or if the car gets in a wreck, you can analyze the damage and stuff like that. So basically understanding all those problems, you guys have the right technical pedigree now to solve the problems. Now, meeting someone who's been working in this domain for a long time, it could be in healthcare, it could be in insurance and finance. Then you now marry these two together and you can create a new solution. So a lot of all the things is centered around that. We have the technical skills and people come to us like, okay, we're trying to solve this problem. How do we apply AI to it? Then we try to like combine the two together and come up with a solution that basically mirrors what they're expecting. And sometimes people don't understand. They don't even know what they're looking for. So you go through multiple iterations, you create proof of value, kind of like a small showcase of what they want to see. And once they see that, then they can now, you convince them that it's doable and it's possible, then you can now build a bigger solution out there for them. So the right thing I would say, just to answer your question in summary, is like you have the right skill sets, you identify a problem area you want to solve, and you combine the two together. You build a product, and the next thing is like, how do you scale it out and deploy it out there so that people can use it at scale?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. you so much. This is actually very inestimable. And also, as a follow-up to all of the beautiful recommendations we've gotten this evening, I'd like to also officially announce that to our interns, leaderboard will be ready in a few days. And then the top guys, the top 30 folks on the leaderboard will have to come in for a recruitment exercise. We do not plan to leave it high and dry. So please start getting ready, start before the celebrations, start preparing yourself and take into consideration everything you've heard here this evening. So before we go on to listen to our closing remarks given by Ola, let's listen to our intent.
I wouldn't say there's a secret to being outstanding so far in my track, but what I can say is persistence learning has been fulcrum to where I am today. Having access to resources as a beginner and having to do projects has actually been key so far. Given collaboration, engagements, webinar, and open source projects I have been involved in, without being biased, I would say the open source project has had the most efficacious effect so far in my career growth and me personally. Because from the open source projects, I've had to learn some very vital things like soft skills like communication skills, leadership skills, having to work with diverse people with different backgrounds, time management, and so on. And I'm very grateful for that. It has been so much of learning and learning so far under Hamoye. And envisaging my 5-year career plan, I would say Hamoye has helped me with the career trajectory. Before Hamoye, I wasn't so sure about what I actually wanted to do. But I think so far I have a foresight of what I should do and what to do. I think my most thrilling experience so far with Hamoye has been the stage B of the internship, being one of the most outstanding interns. I was rewarded for being one of the best students so far. I think rewarding hard work proved very key so far. So I would say that is for now. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Joseph. To be regarded as one of the outstanding interns in the data science space of the Hamoye internship is something I'm grateful for and I really appreciate Hamoye's effort. So, the secret I would say is abiding by the instructions given by Hamoye, researching about the concept. Google has been my friend. Taking online courses on Coursera, has been amazing also. So the part of the internship I really enjoyed the most is the collaboration from the open source project. You know, like the data scientists, data engineers, data storytellers, everyone to come together, like to share ideas and we learn from each other and we create amazing stuff. So the collaboration in the open source project was really amazing. I really enjoyed it. And for me, the open source project was a 5 out of 5. Like it really brought out the best in all of us. And to me, it has a lot of impact. I'm not saying a lot. Finally, Hamoye has played the internship has played a crucial role in my career because during the course of the internship, like the 5 months spell, I think almost 6 months now, we've done we learned a lot of concepts, a lot of techniques, and personally, some of the techniques I got the ability to apply them into petroleum engineering. One I can talk about is time series analysis. In petroleum engineering, we have something called the decline curve analysis, and the decline curve analysis is the study of petroleum production decline, whereby you study how petroleum production falls. So with the help of time series analysis, I was able to give a forecast or an estimate of what the petroleum production will be like in the next couple months or next couple years. So the techniques I learned from Hamoye was really crucial and really very helpful. I can't thank Hamoye enough, and I really appreciate Hamoye's effort.
It all started in the year 2017 when I was in my second year of college.
I got to know the term data science. Then I read somewhere that data scientist is the most sexiest job 21st century. That struck my mind. Then I started exploring the various opportunities I can get to understand the data science and its function. And recently, in the last year, I did my data science internship from Free Charge, which is basically a well-known company over here. So I will say that there is no as a secret in the data science part or any other field. You have to understand each and every concept from its basic part, and you have to follow the roadmap. There is no actual shortcut. And when I'm talking about the Hamoye data science internship, I have never thought that this internship would turn out such a game changer for me. I'm pretty much impressed by these webinars and this the collaboration part. You know why? Because these webinars are so much connected with the industry. The industrial experts are coming here to make us understand that what is the gap. What is the gap? That we understand something, we learn something, but we do not connect to the industrial world. These webinars are so much efficient in making us understand these kind of things. And I would say that in all this HDSC, I'm so much impressed by it that I would rate it very high. I would actually rate it like around 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about it. And from here onwards, I would like to see myself as a data science practitioner in some industrial part so that I can understand and apply all these concepts which I've learned in my entire 3-4 year journey.
So thank you to our interns, thank you to everybody here on the call. But let me invite one of our Hamoye team members, Olaoluwafemi Adube, to give us Ola, you're mute. Okay, so let's proceed to hearing the vote of thanks be given to us by Olaoluwafemi Adube. So ladies and gentlemen, it has been an amazing evening. I want to, in a very special way, thank and appreciate all our interns that have been here with us for 6 months and have given their best. And like Cordelia rightly put it when she was giving the welcome address, they have pulled up their socks. I want to, in a very special way, acknowledge and appreciate the works of Dr. Tolu Ayongbayi, who has been a mentor in this session so far. I want to appreciate also Jide Olarewaju, who has been immensely impactful to our interns today, and to Wale, who has been quite informative and insightful, Biodun Awojobi, who has been a motivation and a mentor, Charles, who has been a mentor, a teacher, and encouragement to all of our interns, to everybody that has joined us, participants that have joined us on YouTube, all of us here on Zoom. I want to say a big thank you to all of you. And this is just one out of many to come. This is one out of many to come. For as many of us that are not interns that are here, you've heard so much about the data science career, and I'm sure you want to become a data science expert. You want to be a machine learning expert. Well, the Data Science Internship 2020 has come and ended, but then the opportunity still opens in the complete machine learning externship starting in January 2021. To read more about the externship, just go on to hamoye.com/externship. You see everything you need to sign up and become a part of the machine learning externship and kick off your career in what is regarded as the sexiest career of the 21st century. It's been a pleasure this evening. It's been a wonderful time. I cannot express how much joy I feel in my heart, but I really do appreciate each and every one of you. So from my end and on behalf of the entire Hamoye team, thank you to everybody, and I hope to still see us again next time when we call upon you for another conference and other webinars like this. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you all.